dies from heat stroke after being left alone in a car. Often, these incidents are not a matter of neglect, but even the most responsible, loving parents are liable to forget a child in the car due to sleep deprivation, stress, or a change in routine, which can lead to fatal results. As temperatures continue to soar, take steps to ensure a child is never forgotten in a hot car. Learn more today by visiting carsforkids.org/hotcars. Remember, that's cars with a K.
Cats are masters at using up their 9 lives, like chasing laser pointers into walls or jumping onto high shelves. But the one thing cats never do? Text while driving. So be like a cat and protect your one and only life. Don't text and drive.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News time is 5 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Andy Farnsworth.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
Utah Fire Watch.
Officials now believe the Cottonwood fire burning east of Beaver has burned down about 150 buildings.
Police are going to let some people go up the mountain today to finally get a look at their properties. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, the new estimate of what's been burned down includes homes, sheds, outbuildings, and RVs. And while officials now believe 150 of those have been lost in the fire, they also say they've been able to save about 130 of them from the flames. David Erickson and others in the crowd burst into a round of applause when they heard that at their community meeting last night, though he was one of those that was not so lucky, losing his family cabin in the fire. But he tells KSL he was grateful for the memories he had there.
Oh, it's the most beautiful place in the world to us. So it'll grow back, but it's going to take time. It's changed in an instant. You just never know what's going to happen.
And today, the sheriff's office is going to arrange some escorts for people in certain areas of the mountains to go back up and assess their property for the first time since the fire began last week. And in more good news, crews have finally been able to start building some containment with this fire. It's now 4% contained. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Fires are continuing to burn across Utah, but firefighters are working fast to get them under control. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis continues our live team coverage, Utah Fire Watch. Brianna?
Andy, there are 2 large fires burning that are still at zero containment. The Babylon fire in San Juan County at 38,000 acres, closing the Needles District and several areas in the Bears Ears National Monument, and the Snyder fire in Grand Junction County that killed 3 firefighters over the weekend. It's estimated a little over 30,000 acres. And firefighters have made some progress on the Wild Goose fire in Millard County, containing 7%. In Iron County, the Sawmill fire is close to containing at 82%, and the Iron fire burning across Juab, Utah, and Tooele counties is nearly all contained. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
One firefighter in Draper says he knows the pain of losing a friend and colleague after hearing about the deaths of 3 wildland firefighters over the weekend.
You just think to yourself, that can't be what I just heard. That can't be real.
Draper Chief Clint Smith says his friend Chief Matt Burchett died while fighting a wildfire in Northern California. He says you never expect to hear this news, and while he didn't know the ones who recently died, the loss still feels personal.
Several towns are canceling festivities altogether because of wildfires and drought conditions. Beaver has officially canceled all of their Independence Day activities. That includes plans for vendors at the park and a fireworks show. The mayor says this is the best decision for the safety and well-being of the community, and the town of Torrey is canceling its Apple Days and America 250 fireworks show. Town leaders say the extreme fire danger across Utah and the deployment of Wayne County volunteer firefighters to active wildfire operations is what drove them to this decision.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Today is expected to be a big day for the United States Supreme Court. We're expecting to get at least 2 major decisions today. Among those is the president's attempt to block birthright citizenship. ABC's Karen Hua reports.
Trump's order would deny automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S. to parents who are undocumented or only in the U.S. temporarily. Even some of the conservative justices seem skeptical of the Trump administration's case during arguments in the spring. Also today, the justices are set to rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams.
We're expecting those rulings around 8 o'clock this morning, and we will deliver those to you live right here on KSL News Radio.
Fallout from yesterday's rulings. The Supreme Court has blocked President Donald Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over allegations of gross negligence. ABC's Devin Dwyer has the details.
President Trump was very interested in the Federal Reserve moving to reduce interest rates, which it still has not done, even with under new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh. But writing for the 5-member majority on the Supreme Court yesterday, Chief Justice Roberts points to the historic reasons for the Fed's independence from politics, from pressure from a president. And Roberts quotes Alexander Hamilton, saying that there would be suspicion of the central bank's decisions if it were, quote, at the disposal of the government.
The 5-4 ruling upholds the limits on the president and preserves the institution's historical independence.
First look traffic now on your Tuesday morning, and here is Jason Jones. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Amanda. We had some construction barrels out on I-15 on the north and southbound side, but they've picked those up, and so you should be good to go now. If you were traveling through the valley, no problems at all as you make your way into downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Counties across Utah are holding more than 170 events as part of the America 250 celebration. Details from KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
While many cities and towns are choosing to ban personal fireworks, some are designating areas where those fireworks are going to be allowed. In addition, several communities are planning to host fireworks displays. There are also other events like Salt Lake City's annual drone show, several parades and music festivals, and several places are doing America's 250 potluck meals.
A complete listing of events can be found on Utah's America 250 website.
Lehi is the latest Utah city banning the use of personal fireworks. The city had set some areas where fireworks were allowed previously, but those are now being suspended. Instead, Lehi is encouraging residents to come see their firework display at Thanksgiving Point.
If you're thinking of storing your fireworks until next year because of the ban, you may want to think again. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
There can be some pretty serious hazard with storing fireworks.
But Ogden Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess understands that people who've invested a lot of money into this year's fireworks don't want to just let that money go down the drain. In that case, people need to take precautions.
A container separate from everything else and away from anything that could cause, any type of combustion or be any sparks or other flammable household utilities.
Hess says if you have a shed or something away from your house, that could be even better. And if a chemical comes in contact with them, you need to soak them in water for 24 hours and discard them. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Officers with the Division of Natural Resources say they will be keeping a close eye on the water this weekend, looking for people driving drunk.
The number one factor in recreational boating fatalities is alcohol and drug use.
Ranger Chris Nelson says all too often people get behind the wheel of a boat intoxicated. So this weekend, he and others will be watching to make sure everyone is staying safe. They'll also be asking about life jackets and other issues. Nelson says it's their priority to make sure everyone is being safe and having a good time.
Well, unlike yesterday, we've got dry road conditions getting things underway this morning. We'll get a check of your commute coming up next.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
When American troops withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, thousands of evacuees fled to the U.S. for protection. Many Americans welcomed their new neighbors.
For the last week, the governor tells me his office has been getting calls nonstop with Utahns wanting to help.
When we saw the pictures and the videos coming out of Afghanistan, we prayed to be able to help them.
But then, what happened? Listen to Stranger Becomes Neighbor, wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time is 5:09. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9th, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Let's go to the traffic center. Here's Jason Jones.
Andy, it's a pretty clean commute so far this morning. We're not seeing any accidents or delays on I-15 in either direction as you travel through the Salt Lake Valley. You're going to do so at regular speeds. In fact, over on the west side, we're looking clean right now. Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway. 201 and 215, they're looking pretty special so far this morning as well. Still no major delays right now through the construction zone. Out at Lake Point and Tooele, down in Utah County, it's the same story there. I-15 up to the point of the mountain is moving at regular speed. No problems on your major feeders over to I-15 either. Cormac?
Similar calm roadways in Weber and Davis counties. No slowdowns on I-15 from Brigham City all the way down to Salt Lake. The only delays you have are at the gates into Hill Air Force Base, eastbound SR 193 at the south gate, and southbound 1900 west in Roy at the north gate. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for a high of 81 today with partly cloudy skies and just a 20% chance for a shower. Overnight, 56, mostly clear to partly cloudy. Tomorrow, breezy, 87, partly cloudy, and a 20% chance to see a little shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 57 degrees downtown. It was a mixed day for the Trump administration at the Supreme Court yesterday. He won some and he lost some.
Won some, lost some. I think the first one that came down was the decision to let the verdict with E. Jean Carroll, the award, stand.
Oh, yeah, they're not taking that case.
Correct. And then they issued rulings on the others.
Yeah, it was a fascinating day. We're going to talk more with Stephen Portnoy about it. Today is the final day, so we'll get the remaining cases today, including those big ones on transgender athletes and on birthright citizenship. More with Stephen Portnoy just ahead on KSL.
Streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
911, I'm coming back. What happened?
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
And I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared?
I don't know. Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Dark and they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time, 5:14. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
officials now estimate 150 buildings have been burned down in the Cottonwood fire near Beaver, and today some will finally get to go up and check on their properties. On KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Beaver has officially canceled all of their Independence Day activities because of the Cottonwood fire.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Accident and delay free so far for your Tuesday morning commute. It's looking good on I-15 along the Wasatch Front. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies today with a slight chance for a high mountain shower. I'm Matt Johnson.
54 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The entire eastern half of the country is either sweltering right now or will be by the end of the week.
More than 100 million Americans are in the path of extreme heat this week from the Midwest to the East Coast. Chicago is warning people to stay indoors and take advantage of cooling centers as the heat is beginning to set in.
ABC's Alex Stone. It'll be setting in along the Mid-Atlantic beginning tomorrow. Big cities including New York, Philadelphia, and Boston all expecting heat index readings of 100 degrees or more for several days. The Supreme Court today is expected to hand down rulings on transgender girls in sports and birthright citizenship. On Monday, the High Court delivered several decisions, including one upholding a Mississippi law that says ballots postmarked by Election Day but received up to 5 days later can still be counted. ABC legal contributor James Sample with more on why that's important to each political party.
Since 2020, mail-in ballots have tended to lean Democratic. That is a change from the historical norms, and it's a change that's driven largely by Donald Trump persuading his supporters not to engage in mail-in balloting. And so we've become familiar with the so-called blue shift. As the mail-in ballots are counted, the votes have tended to tilt more and more Democratic.
Hope is fading in the search for any survivors who might be alive in Venezuela following the earthquake. ABC's James Longman reporting from La Guara State near the epicenter.
We saw, the streets, basically, it feels like the concrete on the roads is all kind of wavy. It's like they've been ripped up like carpets and put back down again. Massive cracks along the street. One tall building we saw, which was essentially split in half. Such was the force of this double earthquake.
Qatar's foreign ministry saying just now that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are in Doha, but will not engage directly in meetings with Iranian officials. The two will meet with mediators instead. This is ABC News.
Let's go in depth now. Yesterday, President Trump was dealt both wins and losses by the Supreme Court as it nears the end of their session.
ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy joins us live. Fascinating day yesterday, Stephen. I found myself wondering, is the Chief Justice the swing vote now?
Yeah, it seems that way, depending on how he's able to craft a majority. But he was the lead, author of two opinions yesterday that had two different majorities. Let's start with the win for the president, 6-3. It had all the conservatives lining up behind the Chief Justice's opinion, all the liberals in dissent, and this had to do with the president's power to fire people who are at the head of independent agencies, as they're called. These are, for example, the Federal Trade Commission, Federal Communications Commission, and other entities have been set up by Congress over the last 150 years with bipartisan leadership in mind. The idea that these would be commissions or boards with both Republicans and Democrats serving multi-year terms, mainly across administrations. The idea would be that these independent agencies have some distance from the White House. That was the intent of Congress. But the Supreme Court held yesterday that the way these agencies actually operate is to enact administration policy. And there shouldn't be any doubt these days that when the FTC, for example, makes a decision, it's acting on behalf of the administration that's in power, and that they have the majority on the commission. And the law says that, for example, in the case of the FTC, they have 5 members. No more than 3 can be members of the same party, or let's just say of the president's party. The idea there being you'd have 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats, but you could make, 3 Republicans, 2 independents if you wanted to. Anyway, the point is the Supreme Court yesterday ruled in favor of the president, saying that the president's appointment power also gives him the power to remove because these independent agencies act on his behalf. Pause for a moment. set it aside, and now we'll look at the specific case of the Federal Reserve. The Supreme Court yesterday, in a 5-4 opinion, which did not have the same makeup. You had Chief Justice Roberts, conservative Brett Kavanaugh, and the 3 liberals joining to make that 5-member majority. The 4 other conservatives were in dissent. This 5-4 opinion holds that the president cannot, by his own decision, remove or by his own whim, remove a member of the Federal Reserve Board, Lisa Cook, it's been alleged she's committed mortgage fraud. She denies it. And no court has ever looked at that claim. It's not been tested in court. The Supreme Court yesterday said that there has to be some ability for Lisa Cook to answer the charges against her before the president's able to fire her for cause, upholding the for cause standard for the Federal Reserve because of its unique role in stabilizing the American economy and the American currency, the historic nature of the first and second banks of the United States, going all the way back to our founding as we celebrate 250 years of America. The whole idea here is that Congress intended for the Federal Reserve to be an independent arbiter of the economy, which has a structure that also has regional banks where the banks themselves help run the Fed. So it's different, is basically the bottom line. And so Lisa Cook, she holds her job for now.
Just in the few seconds we have remaining, Stephen, does yesterday's decision, any of them, give us a hint as to what might happen with birthright citizenship today?
Well, I don't know that I can directly draw a line and say one way or another, but certainly the birthright citizenship case calls into question whether the president has the power, by the stroke of a pen, by signing an executive order, to reinterpret what we've all generally been understanding in this country for more than nearly 130 years, what the 14th Amendment means when it comes to the citizenship rights of people who are born in this country. And that's why most experts say it's unlikely that the court's going to give the president that kind of power.
All right. Thank you, Stephen Portnoy. We appreciate your insight on that. Our ABC News national correspondent on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. Time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Jason Jones.
All's quiet so far out there. There's really no issues on the roads. If you are on I-15, you're still going to be rolling at good speeds through the Salt Lake Valley at 70-plus miles an hour into downtown Salt Lake City. Likewise, if you're down in Utah County, it's pretty much the same thing up to the point of the mountain on I-15. It's going to go at regular speeds there. Over on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley, still no bunch up happening yet on Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway. 201 is looking good at 7200 west. No problems on I-80 or 201 coming out of Tooele. You might run a little slow through the construction zone, of course, at Lake Point, but that's because it's a construction zone, not because there's that many cars on the road. In fact, there's not very many cars on the road so far this morning at all. Cormac?
I-15, still a clean drive through Weber and Davis counties on your way into Salt Lake County from the southbound side as well. But the gates at Hill Air Force Base still seeing some congestion. The south gate actually clearing up right now, where volumes are increasing is the gate in Clearfield. Both directions of Main Street getting a little heavier now at 650 north. And still some light southbound delays on 1900 west in Roy approaching 5600 south. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. 81 today. Pretty pleasant. Partly cloudy skies. 20% chance for showers. You get into the southeast corner of the state, fire danger elevated. 87 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. 20% chance and a little breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, the start of the 4th of July weekend, mostly sunny and a high of 90. 91 on the 4th of July, mostly sunny. We've got sunshine into Sunday and Monday with highs in the mid and upper 90s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 55 degrees downtown, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. I didn't even think until we had that story this morning about what did people do who bought fireworks this year, that storing them could be dangerous.
You know, driving down 90th South yesterday and seeing some fireworks stands just completely empty by 9 p.m., like nobody's selling anything.
Yeah.
They're banned in West Jordan. They're banned in actually everywhere we were going on the 4th of July, they're banned. So.
But what's great is, like I saw that article in KSL.com this morning, there are lots of things we can do to celebrate that don't require what we've always done, which is fireworks.
Yeah, we usually did sort of a neighborhood cul-de-sac fireworks show, and it's going to just end up being just the barbecue, which honestly, that's kind of my favorite part.
Exactly.
I go to bed so early, I don't even always see the fireworks shows.
The dogs will be happy.
The dogs will be much happier, that is true.
Coming up, we're going to check money news on KSL News Radio.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. President Trump has warned gas retailers that they must lower prices immediately or face, quote, big problems. In a post on Truth Social, the president instructed the gas stations to aim for $2.50 at the pump. I mean, I'll take that as far as a consumer.
Yeah, but he doesn't control that. Some Americans are finding themselves unable to retire due to loans they took out in their 20s. According to the Wall Street Journal, baby boomers with federal student loans owe an average of about $45,000. They still owe $45,000, more than 3 times that of borrowers in their early 20s.
The American Pyrotechnics Association expects one of their biggest years of sales to date, despite a statewide firework ban in Utah. Last year, they sold over $2.3 billion in fireworks, and they're expecting this year to be even bigger for America's birthday.
Wow, must be in parts of the country where they don't have so many.
No, I've seen something, I think it was on Good Morning America early this morning, about it is records. I mean, it makes sense, the 250th.
Right, for sure.
It would be pretty big here if we were allowed to,
right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see where the markets closed yesterday. The Dow closed up 306, S&P closed up 86, the Nasdaq closed up 522, and futures are headed up this morning. The Dow futures up 110, S&P futures up 16, the Nasdaq futures up another 109.
Well, the roadways look like they're off to an okay start, at least early this morning. No crashes on our freeways. We'll check your commute next.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
All in together now, we can make it better. Can we do it? We'll rope it up.
Because we know how to jump. Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
KSL Brightside with Ethan and Alex.
Ethan rolls up with let's talk about balding, you guys, and then looks at both of us, and then now we're in a bad spot. Yeah. Now we're in a bald spot.
Alex.
It's all good.
KSL Brightside. Streaming from 1 to 3 on YouTube or on the KSL News Radio app.
KSL News Times 5:29. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Jason Jones.
No accidents so far as you make your way out the door to work or wherever it is you're going this morning. And you're going to be greeted with regular speeds on all of your major highways, especially through the Salt Lake Valley. I-15, 215, 201, I-80, they're all moving well this morning so far. No problems I-80 or Mountain View Corridor or Bangerter Highway. Those are the words I'm looking for. Also still looking pretty decent coming through that construction zone in Tooele. No problems down in Utah County either. I-15 is good, as are all the major feeders. Cormac?
I-15 through Weber and Davis counties also looking clean and clear. It's no delays between Brigham City and Salt Lake right now, both directions. Just the gates into Hill Air Force Base where we're seeing the normal congestion. The South Gate, a little bit of congestion has returned both directions at SR 193 and Hillfield Road. And in Clearfield, both directions of Main Street still pretty congested at 650 North. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at that weather forecast. Cooler again today. Today's high, 81 degrees with a few clouds. We start to warm up tomorrow, 87 tomorrow, 89 on Thursday, and Friday we get back into the low 90s. It'll still feel cool compared to what we've had. 90, 91 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. We get back up close to 100 to start off next week. Right now it's 55 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News
with Andy Farnsworth and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 5:30. KSL's top story this hour.
One person has died and several others were injured in a construction accident in northeastern Utah.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Andy, we're learning this happened late yesterday morning in the Monte Cristo area of Rich County. The Rich County Sheriff's Office tells us a group of construction workers were installing roof trusses when it appears a gust of wind caused multiple trusses to collapse, knocking 2 men off the roof and pinning another underneath a truss. The Sheriff's Office tells us that a 56-year-old man was killed, a 42-year-old man had to be life-flighted, and a 29-year-old man was taken to the hospital. And they also say a fourth person was injured and treated. At this point, investigators have not said anything indicating foul play, calling this a tragic accident. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Up to 80% of new homes are being built in homeowners associations. But do they stick around, and will new home buyers be notified? One neighborhood in Ogden found themselves without water when they discovered they live in a defunct HOA. Utah HOA Ombudsman Aaron Ryder says when an HOA dissolves, the utilities don't just transfer over.
That doesn't just default to the city. The city you have to negotiate with the city or with the county to actually have them take it over.
One community member had to step up to pay for the repairs, and now community members are trying to turn their utilities over.
As Utah looks for ways to conserve water, the University of Utah is replacing thousands of square feet of grass with drought-friendly landscaping. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera found one homeowner who says making a similar change at his home paid off.
The U says one of its recent xeriscaping projects is expected to save about 1.5 million gallons of water every year. Mill Creek homeowner Sean Brannigan made the switch to artificial turf himself and said he'd do it again.
I wouldn't even hesitate. It is such a nice option. It definitely cuts down on all maintenance, and it looks good all year round, which is great.
The university says it's removed about 50,000 square feet of turf across campus in the past year as part of its broader water conservation efforts. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
The John M. Huntsman Center may look different in a few years. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman explains.
The University of Utah says they're exploring options to modernize the 57-year-old sports venue. Starting with a feasibility study and a fan survey, they're sending emails out to a handful of ticket buyers, fans, donors, and more, asking where improvements can be made. Things like parking, concessions, or even the restrooms inside the building. The athletics department says technology is evolving, and the stadium should too.
The stadium is home to the university's basketball teams and the gymnastics and volleyball programs.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The death toll in Venezuela has climbed to 1,719. Chief International Correspondent James Longman reports from La Guaira near the epicenter.
We just saw building after building after building flattened, like concertina, pancaked, and you can see kind of strips of concrete where apartments once were. We saw, the streets, basically, it feels like the concrete on the roads is all kind of wavy. It's like they've been ripped up like carpets and put back down again. Massive cracks along the street. One tall building we saw, which was essentially split in half. Such was the force of this double earthquake.
More than 5,000 people were injured, and responders are still trying to rescue people from under the rubble.
Severe heat is moving through the U.S. from the Midwest to the Northeast. It's expected to bring record-breaking high temperatures as America 250 celebrations take place. ABC meteorologist Lee Goldberg reports.
The heat's peaking over the Midwest right now. There are ridge-riding thunderstorms across the upper lakes. We have heat alerts from Kansas to Maine. It'll be triple digits again in Chicago and Green Bay, feeling like 105 to 110. The heat gets to the East Coast on Wednesday. Large swath of the I-95 corridor on Wednesday. It'll be 100 in Detroit and D.C. and near 100 in Philly and New York by Thursday and potentially into Friday. This peaks on Thursday and Friday, but less extreme heat could mean more thunderstorms for the 4th right here in New York.
Temperatures in Salt Lake City are expected to be in the mid to low 90s through the weekend.
First look traffic. Here's Jason Jones.
So far, it is an accident-free commute. We have no delays and no major accidents to speak of out there on the roads. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Fox News and Fox Business have both issued on-air apologies to Utah organizations for making claims they were connected to China. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis joins us live. Brianna?
Amanda, these apologies follow one made by Stratos celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary, who posted on his Facebook page he had no evidence of Alliance for a Better Utah, Elevate Strategies, and Taylor Nuth or Josh Canther being funded by the Chinese Communist Party. And over the weekend, on-air Fox host Johnny Joey Jones read a statement.
Fox News Media is likewise aware of no evidence that they are funded by or acting on the direction or in coordination with Chinese interests in opposing Mr. O'Leary's project.
Audio from the online news organization Mediaite. Fox Business anchor Maria Baratomo also read the same statement on air. Taylor Nuth told Business Insider it was nice to have an apology from Fox, but is still confused on why he was called out in the first place. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A former NBA player is facing federal charges accused in a sports gambling scheme. ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky reports.
Prosecutors say former NBA player Malik Beasley, who made $60 million during his NBA career, accumulated multi-million-dollar gambling losses. And to pay off what he owed former teammate Ed Davis, agreed to underperform and at times overperform. The indictment quoted text messages allegedly between Beasley and Davis, who is also facing charges. Only way you can beat Vegas is sports betting. Everything else, they got the edge, Davis wrote.
Beasley is alleged to have made hundreds of thousands of dollars by giving bettors information on how he would play.
Watch parties continue across Utah as teams advance in the FIFA World Cup. So far, Canada, Morocco, Paraguay, and Brazil have advanced to the round of 16. Today, France will play Sweden. The Ivory Coast will play Norway, and Mexico will play Ecuador. Team USA will return to the field tomorrow.
The Department of Justice has brought the hammer down on illegal World Cup streams, but the fight isn't over. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has the story.
On Friday, the Department of Justice announced that they seized almost 400 websites accused of streaming an unauthorized version of the FIFA World Cup matches. According to the DOJ, it is a big blow to an industry that heavily infringes on copyright and poses a significant threat to users. They say anyone streaming games on those websites expose themselves to a high risk of malware and viruses. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
Well, the roadways, I haven't seen any big delays show up in the Salt Lake Valley on freeways. We'll check your commute and any city street slowdowns coming up next.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Pack a picnic, bring your friends, and meet us in Park City. It's time for the 2026 Deer Valley Music Festival, the summer home of the Utah Symphony. Hear joyful masterworks like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in the Wasatch Mountains. Sing your heart out with iconic performers like Idina Menzel and Lyle Lovett. Relax with concerts under the stars and make new family traditions. Every concert is a chance to experience the best of the Utah Symphony in the beauty of Park City. Concerts will sell out. Get your tickets and plan your visit at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org.
KSL News Time, 5:39. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at UCCU.com. Here's Jason Jones.
Andy, so far we are rolling smooth this morning, which is what we really like to see. The volumes have remained pretty light out on I-15. Not too many cars on the road yet, and you're going to be running at good speeds through the entire Salt Lake Valley. We're not seeing any bunching up really happening on Bangerter Highway. Mountain View Corridor is starting to get busy over around 3500 south. That's typical for this time of the morning. Eastbound on the 201, of course, is also a little bit busy right around 7200 west. It's starting to slow down, of course, more now through the construction zone at Lake Point in Tooele. These are all typical delays, just a few extra cars on the road, but like I said before, I-15 is still looking pretty good, as are the other major highways in the Salt Lake Valley. Down south, no such problems at all yet. I-15 is still good, and the major feeders looking pretty decent at this point. Cormac?
Likewise, roadways through Weber and Davis counties looking really good so far. No delays on I-15 from Brigham City all the way into Salt Lake. The gates into Hill Air Force Base in Roy, Clearfield, and Layton all seeing just the normal congestion there. We don't quite have too many delays on Highway 89 at the Harrison Boulevard and Skyline Drive intersections. It is getting a little slow southbound Highway 89 approaching the mouth of Weber Canyon and I-84, though. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Got a lovely forecast today with a high of 81. Partly cloudy skies and a 20% chance for a shower. Tomorrow, breezy out of the south, 87 the high. Partly cloudy, 20% chance. Into Thursday, 89, mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 55 degrees downtown. Coming up in a moment, the U.S. and Iran will meet for more talks today in Doha, Qatar. We're going to find out more about who is there and what they're discussing when we speak with Karen Travers at the White House, coming up on KSL News Radio.
Streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that can make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 801-896-9622. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it.
Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night, too. Did you have a clue?
No, but teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time, 5:44. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
crews across Utah are working hard to contain several large fires, including the Babylon, Snyder, and Wild Goose fires. I'm KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis.
Second, officers with the DNR will be closely watching water this weekend, making sure no one is drinking while driving boats.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Got some flashing lights at the intersection. Washington Boulevard and 44th South up in South Ogden area. Treat that as a four-way stop. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our slow warming trend continues today with a high of 81. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The final rulings of this term from the Supreme Court are expected in a couple of hours. They will include decisions on whether President Trump's order limiting birthright citizenship can stand. There's another decision on trans girls in sports. Search teams still looking for survivors after the Venezuela earthquakes. ABC News Chief International Correspondent James Longman is there and says the devastation goes on and on.
We just saw building after building after building flattened, like concertina, pancaked, and you can see kind of strips of concrete where apartments once were. We saw, the streets, basically, it feels like the concrete on the roads is all kind of wavy.
Heat waves will be rising up in states from the Midwest to the Northeast this week. 160 million Americans under some sort of heat advisory. Bad weather has forced NASA to delay the launch of a robot designed to save a space telescope from burning up in the atmosphere. This is ABC News.
Well, a fresh round of discussions is expected to take place this week in Qatar between the United States and Iran.
This comes after a weekend of renewed mutual strikes. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers joins us live. So where are we on this, Karen?
So it actually won't be conversations between the U.S. and Iran. The president had said yesterday that Iran requested a meeting with the U.S. that he said would take place in Doha. Iran said that that's not what was happening, that they would have a delegation in Doha, but that there were no meetings scheduled with the United States, that the delegation had no connection to the United States being there because there were other technical talks also scheduled. The president said that his team would still be going. That was Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, his son-in-law. And he said that we'll see how it goes in terms of a meeting. He said it's going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. A few moments ago, the Qatari foreign ministry spokesman said at a news conference that Kushner and Witkoff are there, but they aren't going to engage in direct meetings with the Iranians, that they're going to meet with mediators and discuss the progress of the negotiations. So it didn't even seem like they were going to be doing the negotiations themselves, but merely checking in on the status of talks at this point. But the Iranians have made it very clear that they were not engaging directly with the United States in Doha today, despite the president saying that it was at their request.
Well, and Karen, the president's had some really strong rhetoric since the beginning of the weekend about what will happen if they don't seem to be able to get the Strait of Hormuz straightened out, or at least who letting ships through the Strait of Hormuz or getting the talks resumed.
Yeah, and these are threats we have heard from the president before, to escalate military strikes, to go back to major combat operations. He has not indicated, though, by actions, a willingness to do that beyond these targeted strikes that we have seen at drone and missile storage facilities like we saw over the weekend. Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, said yesterday that as far as the administration is concerned, the U.S. is holding up its end of the ceasefire. We had heard Sunday night that the U.S. and Iran had agreed to stop these strikes after a tense weekend. Iran still hasn't publicly confirmed that, but the strikes did stop after the latest round on Sunday morning.
Well, that's good. At least those have stopped, even if we can't get clear on what the status of So we're in the 60-day ceasefire.
Oh, yeah. I mean, ostensibly there's been a ceasefire since early April, but the memo of understanding was also a ceasefire agreement. And now this, of course, had the strikes over the weekend. So a ceasefire that was underlined even more, but still had back and forth attacks over the weekend.
Has there ever been a hard deadline given to when either the Memorandum of Understanding is fully in effect or military strikes resume?
I mean, it was supposed to be in effect once they signed it, but the Iranians are certainly quibbling with major issues of it, including the points about the control of the Strait of Hormuz and saying that, it's not fully in effect until that's all worked out. They want to maintain some control, and they say that there's flexibility within that memo that gives them some of that. The United States, of course, says no. And this has been a major issue since the memo of understanding was signed. I mean, the fact that they're still arguing and going back and forth about where that stands when that memo was aimed at reopening the strait, that should have been a done deal once it was signed.
Do you know the status of ships in the Strait of Hormuz? Has everything moving freely there now?
Not completely. I have to go back and look to see the exact traffic numbers. But obviously, we saw the Iranians firing drones at ships late last week.
Karen, we always appreciate your time. Thank you. Karen Travers with us on the In-Depth at 15:45.
At 5:49, time for a check of traffic and weather together. Brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
And we do have a disabled vehicle. This is going to be southbound I-15 at the I-80 interchange. About right around 2100 south, I guess is where we'll call it. It is off to the right shoulder. It is not really affecting traffic. And, of course, because it's southbound and the volume is already light, it shouldn't cause you any problems. Just, pay attention to what you're doing out there on the roads and don't make that situation worse. Northbound I-15, still good speeds all the way into downtown Salt Lake City. Much heavier now on Mountain View Corridor northbound side at 3500 south. And it's also a titch busy now northbound on Bangerter Highway at the 201, eastbound to 201 at 7200 west. Down in Utah County, no problems at all. Still, it is good speeds on I-15. No problems on the major feeders over to I-15. Cormac?
Got some trouble in South Ogden. Both directions of Washington Boulevard are pretty congested at 44th Street. That's due to the stoplight being out. It's flashing lights, so you're going to want to treat it as a four-way stop. Otherwise, roadways through Weber and Davis counties looking very normal. No delays on I-15 right now from Brigham City all the way into Salt Lake. And some normal congestions at all the gates into Hill Air Force Base. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 81 today, partly cloudy skies, and a slight chance for a pop-up in the afternoon. I think a lot of the activity stays in the mountains. Similar performance by clouds on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 20% chance, 87 breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, 90, up to 91, mostly sunny on your 4th of July. Then we'll go to mid and upper 90s Sunday and Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, downtown, it's 55 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. I am so looking forward to this special program we have that is hosted by Doug Wright. That's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, Utah Unites America 250. We're going to have this on Wednesday at 11 a.m., a special town hall meeting moderated by Doug Wright. This will feature former Governor Republican Mike Leavitt, longtime state rep and now chair of the Utah Democratic Party Brian King, and community activist Gabby Finlayson, who's the founding partner at Elevate Strategies.
They're going to be talking about how we bridge political divides. How do we get past our differences? It's going to be a special hour, commercial-free, 11 o'clock tomorrow as part of our Utah Unites America 250 celebration.
Every day on your way home, you pass it. That one lawn so thick and deep green, it belongs in the big leagues. It sets the bar for the entire street, making every other lawn look like it's still waiting for a wake-up call. Look for the sign of a winner. Big League Lawns. Now, it's your turn. Level the playing field and get the results your home deserves. Go home to a Big League Lawn.
Are mosquitoes still ruining your nights? The kids are finally outside, the string lights are glowing, and the swatting starts. Don't let mosquitoes steal your summer. Call Skeeter Eater, a Utah company built for backyards like yours. Our family-friendly treatments and smart mosquito traps keep the fun going long after sunset. Fewer bites, happier nights, and peace of mind that lasts all season. Book now and get $40 off your first treatment at SkeeterEater.com. Skeeter Eater. Stop the bites. Start the fun.
Trying to make sense of the markets? Looking to diversify out of all the craziness? Thinking about tangible assets like precious metals? Listen to The Gold Show with Walt Phillips right here on KSL at 3 p.m. Sunday afternoons. Stay up to date on retirement trends, how the IRA rollover process works, and why investors are turning to physical gold. Walt is a national talk show host with decades of experience in the markets. Tune in for Walt's Insights and The Gold Show this Sunday afternoon at 3.
June is National Homeowners Month, and new research is revealing how Americans compare to homeowners around the world. With more, here's Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie.
Our survey found that nearly half of U.S. homeowners stay on top of maintenance before problems happen. 49% say they take a proactive approach to home maintenance, and 72% renovate to maintain their home's condition. Homeowners are clearly focused on protecting and improving what they have.
The survey also found that Americans take a hands-on approach to caring for their homes, from staying ahead of maintenance to investing in updates that keep homes comfortable and functional.
Homeowners can focus on maintenance to help prevent bigger issues over time. Simple things like changing air filters, checking for leaks, and creating small repair budgets can help prevent bigger issues later. And remember, home should work for your everyday life. So focus on projects that improve comfort and functionality.
To learn more, visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. A new company called Brick is helping people stop scrolling when willpower alone fails. Now, the device is a little gray box with an accompanying app that will allow people to program a lock on their phones. The lock won't allow them to scroll on the brain rot apps until they find the brick and tap the phone. So your urge, you got to go discover the thing and release it.
You can still access your phone, the things that are not brain rot.
You just can't scroll.
I wonder how
on
they
your...
define what is brain rot.
You probably get to choose. I would assume
you
have to display the self-control enough to
say,
enable that in the first place.
This includes TikTok. All right. Gold is continuing to fall as it threatens to drop below the $4,000 mark. This is the lowest it's been since November of last year and nearly $1,000 down per ounce.
Crews in Draper broke ground on the first phase of a brand new development called The Point. The development will be a large community that'll feature businesses, restaurants, homes, and high walkability. This is only the first phase, and construction won't be expected to finish until 2029.
Futures are up this morning. Dow futures up 84, S&P up 15, the NASDAQ futures up 104.
A little bit of slowing building in West Valley on Mountain View and Bangerter Highway. We'll check your commute next.
As we celebrate America 250, KSL presents Utah Cornerstones, honoring the businesses that built our past and continue to shape our future.
America wasn't built by chance. It was built by grit, innovation, and the right tools in hard-working hands. For over a century, Industrial Supply has proudly supplied those who build Utah and beyond. Family-owned Utah business since 1916. That's 110 years contributing to Utah heritage. Industrial Supply has grown into one of the largest industrial distributors in the Intermountain West, with locations across 5 states, supplying safety and tooling solutions across construction, mining, manufacturing, and more. Industrial Supply is more than just a supplier. They have the local roots, the regional scale, and the product expertise to keep operations informed and optimized. Because they're not just a part of the job, they're part of the legacy of building America.
Utah Cornerstones on KSL News Radio.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
For hearts that love. For hearts that care. For hearts that comfort. For hearts that heal. We care for them all. At Common Spirit Health, we know that each patient is unique. That's why our cardiology team is committed to caring for every kind of heart. Find heart care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
What if we could disagree without disliking each other? Join KSL News Radio for Utah Unites America 250, a conversation across differences, proving we can disagree, stay friends, and still call this country home. Longtime radio host Doug Wright leads an honest discussion about bridging political divides, listening with respect, and finding common ground. Panelists include former Governor Mike Leavitt, Representative Brian King, and Gabby Finlayson of the Elevate Utah podcast. This special 1-hour town hall will be live on July 1st at 11 a.m., sponsored by America First Credit Union.
KSL News Times 5:59. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Jason Jones.
We now have two problems southbound I-15. One of them is still this disabled vehicle about 2100 south right there at the I-80 interchange. It is off to the right shoulder, not affecting traffic at all. But now we have a double trailer gravel truck that is pulled over to the right side. This is going to be just around the south interchange in Murray. Looks like he might have lost some gravel out on the road, although so far it does not seem to be affecting traffic. So still should be pretty good to go, and we're not seeing any delays from it on I-15 at all. It is, of course, crowded if you are northbound on Mount View Corridor at 3500 and Bangerter Highway at the 201. Still looking good, though, down in Utah County. Cormac?
Delays have really eased out in South Ogden on Washington Boulevard. That light at 44th Street has now started working once again, no longer flashing, and so you can get through that intersection just fine. So it's just normal delays to expect through Weber and Davis counties at the gates into Hill Air Force Base. Right now, the worst is actually in Roy, southbound 1900 west, approaching 5600 south, and then both directions of Main Street at 650 north in Clearfield, pretty heavy. But I-15 remains a calm drive through Weber and Davis counties. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today looks like we'll get up to 81 degrees with a few clouds. Then we start to warm up tomorrow, 87, 89 Thursday. We get back into the 90s starting on Friday. Right now, partly cloudy and 55 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Andy Farnsworth.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
Utah Fire Watch.
Firefighters are working around the clock to contain fires burning around the state.
Several large fires are nearly there. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis begins our team coverage Utah Fire Watch. Brianna?
Amanda, the Sawmill Fire and Iron Fires are both getting closer to containment at 82% and 95% respectively. The Sawmill Fire has burned nearly 38,000 acres and the Iron Fire more than 41,000. However, combined with the nearby Cherry Fire, the Iron Fire is over 75,000 acres with a slightly lower containment. Several of the state's newer fires, however, are nowhere close to containment, including the Babylon, Wild Goose, and Snyder fires. So far, there have been a total of 390 fires that have started in Utah this season, with 279 of them determined to be human-caused. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Officials now estimate 150 buildings have been destroyed in the Cottonwood Fire burning in Beaver and Paiute counties. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our team coverage. Adam?
Andy, that estimate includes anything from homes, sheds, outbuildings, and RVs. And the good news is crews say they have been able to protect 130 buildings from burning down in the fire. And today, some people are actually going to go up, be able to start going up the mountain to check on their properties for the first time since the fire started last week. Though Beaver County Sheriff Cody Black tells KSL they will be checking IDs first. In more good news, crews have been able to start building some semblance of a perimeter for the first time since the fire started last week, and now it's 4% contained. It's burned almost 94,000 acres. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The wildland firefighting community is mourning the deaths of 3 of their members who died while fighting the Snyder Fire on the Utah-Colorado border. Emily Barker from Michigan, Nick Hutchinson from Arizona, and Sidney Waitson from Alabama were all part of the initial attack against the fire. Executive Director of the Wildland Firefighter Foundation, Burke Miner, says everyone feels their loss.
Devastated. The whole wildland community is devastated. You get multi-fatality. It's something else.
2 other firefighters were severely injured, and Miner says they have taken care of their families' hotel, car rentals, and plane tickets.
Ogden is joining in on the firework ban, and the city sent out a release saying all private firework use is banned. The release says there are no safe places to light fireworks this year with fire danger as high as it is. Mayor Ben Nadolski says this decision wasn't easy, but the most important thing is keeping the community safe. Firefighting crews are stretched thin right now, and those resources need to be kept where they are. The restriction will be reviewed before Pioneer Day near the end of July.
People who purchased fireworks before the ban might be hoping to save them for next year, but there are serious hazards to doing that, according to Ogden Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess. If you choose to store them, make sure they are in a secure container away from your home and away from any kind of sparks or chemicals. If you choose to discard them, soak them in water for 24 hours and then throw them away.
KSL's top national stories this hour. It'll be another big day at the United States Supreme Court. ABC's Karen Waugh reports from Washington.
The justices are set to rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams. 15-year-old Becky Pepper Jackson sued to overturn West Virginia's ban.
I've been a girl forever, and playing on the guys' team is going backwards.
The state argues banning transgender girls will keep competition fair. But Becky's family says she never went through male puberty and has no physical advantage.
The justices are also expected to rule on President Trump's attempt to ban birthright citizenship.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court blocked President Donald Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over allegations of mortgage fraud. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
John Roberts didn't say that Lisa Cook can never be fired. He only says, at a minimum, that she should be afforded the chance to respond to the allegations against her before she's fired for cause, which basically means that this may have to wind up back in front of judges one way or another to determine whether she committed any kind of criminal offense, whether that rises to the for-cause standard that the court yesterday upheld.
The ruling upholds the limits Congress put on a president's ability to remove members of the Fed. The court is expected to hand down more rulings at 8 o'clock this morning, and we will share those live right here on KSL News Radio.
First look traffic in the 6 o'clock hour. Here's Jason Jones.
And the double gravel trailer that we had southbound I-15 at the South Interchange has driven off. So apparently no such trouble there anymore. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
As hot as it's been, Salt Lake City still has not seen 100 degrees this year.
The warmest Salt Lake City has hit is 99 degrees. That happened last week. And if we look back at the record books, we hit 100 degrees last year in 2025 on June 19th. 2024, June 13th. Back in 2023, that was our really active winter of 22-23. That spring, we didn't hit 100 degrees until July 3rd.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says if the forecast holds, we won't see 100 degrees until after July 3rd.
Monsoon rains could help turn the tide for the active wildfire season we're in right now, but it could still take weeks for firefighters to fully get a handle on our fires. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce reports.
I asked KSL meteorologist Kevin Eubank if we're expecting a wetter than usual monsoon season, arriving earlier than usual, both trends it's on track to do. Won't that help firefighters make some progress against these massive wildfires? The answer is that it helps, but with the size of these fires, 1 or 2 storms won't be nearly enough. We need a lot more. And we've got to return to drier, hotter weather this weekend.
As to the drought, Kevin says it usually takes about as long to get out of a drought as it did to get into it.
Even though it may be difficult to find a place to light fireworks this weekend, there are still plenty of other ways to celebrate the holiday.
Utah's America 250 website lists more than 170 events happening between now and Sunday, with events happening in most of Utah's 29 counties. Friday evening, the Utah Symphony and Utah Opera will be holding a free event on the steps of the state capitol. Friday evening and running through Sunday evening, the state capitol will be lit red, white, and blue. And also on Friday, Salt Lake City is holding their annual drone show at Jordan Park. Don Brinker-Huff, KSL News Radio.
Well, we've got a little bit of slowing on the 201 freeway starting out in Magna. We'll check your commute coming up next.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you, like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
KSL News Time, 6:09. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
And no major problems out there so far. We do still have this disabled vehicle. It's off to the side of the road, southbound I-15 at the I-80 interchange. But again, it's not really affecting traffic. And because it's southbound, it probably wouldn't anyway. Northbound side of I-15 still rolling smoothly into downtown Salt Lake City. The only bunching up that we've seen is northbound on Mountain View Corridor at about 3500 south. Bangerter Highway is mostly cleared out now around the 201, and the 201 itself is not too bad if you're eastbound. Just maybe on and off the brakes once or twice. 7200 west is going to be the place for that. Lake Point and Tooele is looking really good. There's no major backups there through that construction zone. Down in Utah County, it's the same story. No problems right now on I-15 up to the Point of the Mountain. In fact, the major feeders down in Utah County are still looking pretty good at this point. We haven't had any major backups right now on 2100 North or Pioneer Crossing. There are a few extra cars on the road, however, Mountain View Corridor around Harvest Hills. Cormac?
I-15 looking clean and clear through Weber and Davis counties, though we do have a crash on northbound Legacy Highway just before Parish Lane. Looks like they're out of traffic and in the right shoulder. And again, because it's northbound, there's not really any delays this morning for that. And we are starting to see some slowdowns build up on Highway 89 in South Ogden at the Harrison Boulevard intersection. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and water treatment needs. Call 974-9090 or visit SuperiorWaterandAir.com. Superior Water and Air. We got this. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures will ride a solid 9 degrees below the normal today. Partly cloudy skies, high of 81, and a mountain shower possible. Tomorrow, 87, a little bit warmer and breezy out of the south. Partly cloudy skies, 20% chance for a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And let's see where we are right now. We're at 55 degrees, so much cooler than it was a few days ago. Coming up, we'll talk to Mike Dubusky. It is Tech Tuesday, and we'll talk about the price of tech. That's headed up. More on that just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It is the summer of savings at Utah Community Credit Union, UCCU. You can get a 6-month, what they call add-on savings certificate, which just means you can add to it whenever, with yields as high as 4.24%.
That's a lot higher of a yield than you get from any standard savings account. And this is what's really cool, is this is an add-on account, which means unlike some where you get a good high rate of return, you have to lock in the amount at the beginning. You can add to this along the way.
Right. So if you have an extra $100 or an extra whatever, you could just throw it in there and earn that. Look, your money should be working for you, but it's nice to have it at UCCU where, it's a savings certificate, but it's earnings. Because look at what the amount of interest is on your basic savings account.
It ain't much.
It's nothing. And this is 4.24%.
And they also have impressive returns on IRA savings account and youth savings accounts and savings certificates designed specifically to help kids and teens grow their savings. That's why it's the summer of savings. It's for everybody.
Yeah. And using the UCCU app, which I have for years, is such a great way to, I even have like separate savings accounts for separate things. Mm-hmm. So you could set up a savings account and call it summer vacation. And just put a little bit into it each month. And before you know it, your savings goals are there.
And these tools are all free on the UCCU app. Look, UCCU is always trying to find ways to help their members to save more and to earn more. And this is just why we've enjoyed being with them, Amanda, because at UCCU, love where you bank.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry is the jewelry we never wear. It sits tucked away in a drawer. A ring from a grandmother, a pendant from years gone by. Pieces filled with stories, but not part of your everyday life. Duke's Jewelers believes those pieces deserve more. For over 75 years, Duke's Jewelers has helped families reimagine heirloom jewelry, transforming what once was into something you'll love wearing today and pass down tomorrow. Whether it's resetting a stone, redesigning a ring, or creating something entirely new, Duke's Jewelers will guide you through every step, right there in the store. And if you have jewelry that no longer fits your story, Duke's Jewelers also buys gold, offering a simple, transparent way to turn it into something meaningful again. Bring in what you have and create something you'll never want to take off. Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville, where your story continues.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1490. That's 800-822-1490. 800-822-1490.
KSL News Time is 6:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
if you're thinking of storing your fireworks until next year because of the ban, it can be hazardous and you need to take precautions. I'm KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson.
Second, Ogden is joining in on the firework ban. The city sent out a release saying all private firework use is banned.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Looking pretty fantastic on the highways as you head out the door to work this morning. In fact, the congestion we had over on Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South is mostly gone as well. I'm Jason Jones with the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies today with a slight chance for a high mountain shower. I'm Matt Johnson.
57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Supreme Court is expected to deliver a couple more big decisions today, including a ruling on whether President Trump has the power to block the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship. Here's ABC's Karen Waugh.
Trump's order would deny automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S. to parents who are undocumented or only in the U.S. temporarily. Even some of the conservative justices seem skeptical of the Trump administration's case during arguments in the spring. Also today, the justices are set to rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams.
A federal judge in Washington, D.C. also hearing arguments today in a lawsuit filed against the Trump administration's ban on transgender service members. After President Trump said the Iranians had called him asking for more ceasefire talks, envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner flew to Doha, where the Iranians now say there are no face-to-face meetings scheduled, only discussions with mediators. Bad weather in the South Pacific postponing NASA's first-of-its-kind project launch. ABC's Jim Ryan has more on what the mission is.
Since 2004, the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory has been sending back amazing images of stars at the end of their lives, but it's suddenly dropping out of its orbit.
If we do nothing, Swift will re-enter the atmosphere
And burn up, says NASA's Regina Caputo.
and so there's nothing to lose.
An aerospace startup called Catalyst has been hired to design and deploy a robot to hook up to the Swift telescope and haul it approximately 100 miles higher, extending its life by a decade. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
As the European heat wave dissipates, the United States is now getting the brunt of the sun. Triple-digit temperatures in the Midwest on Monday. Today, that dome moving eastward. Philadelphia, New York, and Boston could all hit 100 degrees or higher this week. The rescue mission has become a recovery mission in Venezuela, where more than 1,700 people are confirmed to have died in the twin earthquakes. You're listening to ABC News.
Let's go in depth. Prices are rising these days on just about everything, but the price of tech has been outpacing them all.
ABC News tech reporter Mike Dubosky joins us live. Why are prices going up so much, Mike?
Well, this all comes back to a crisis in the memory sector. So computer memory is one of the key ingredients in making a computer, right? It's not just where your computer stores stuff, but it's also RAM, random access memory, which is like the horsepower that your computer or your tablet or your phone has. It allows you to quickly launch programs, switch between them. Again, like horsepower for your computer. Well, the reason that there's such a shortage in the memory space is because AI companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Meta, others, have been buying up computer memory like it's going out of style. They need it in order to build and run their AI technologies. That leaves less for the rest of the consumer tech space. We first started to hear this sort of canary in the coal mine from the gaming space. Obviously, if you're a gamer, maybe you want to build your own computer, your gaming computer, you need memory to do that. Many months ago now, we heard gamers start to say, hey, this is getting to be a pretty expensive proposition. Now it's starting to hit some of the biggest players in the market. Sticking with the gaming sector for just a moment, Microsoft last week announced that it's raising prices on the Xbox. Effective in August, they are updating prices by $100 to $150 on some versions of that gaming console. Last week, we also learned that Apple is raising prices on some popular MacBooks and iPads. Somewhere between, $100 for the MacBook Neo, going from a $600 computer to now a $700 computer. The MacBook Pro 1 terabyte version used to be a $1,700 proposition, is now a $2,000 computer. iPads going up by $150 to $200. Even GoPro, the maker of those action cameras that people who do extreme sports use, they announced that they're concerned they might go out of business after memory costs went up between 80% and 115% at the end of last quarter. So it's really affecting a huge swath of the consumer tech space.
Really quickly, on the other end of the spectrum, we've got a company that's got an electric pickup that's half the average price. So now we actually found something where it goes down.
Yeah, right. A increasingly rare story in the tech world. But yes, Slate, which is a startup automaker backed by Jeff Bezos, they showed off last year this stripped out, low-cost, configurable electric pickup truck. And last week we learned the price of it. $24,950. That is without the assistance of federal EV incentives, which of course expired last year. That would make it not only the cheapest new electric vehicle on the market, it would actually be cheaper than the average used car transaction price, according to Kelley Blue Book. According to Edmunds, in 2020, more than 1/5 of the new car market was populated by cars under $25,000 back in 2020. Now it's less than 5%. Wow. So this is a real low end of the market, guys. But you don't get power windows, you don't get a radio, and it's a relatively diminutive thing. It's a small pickup truck with 2 seats. So the question is going to be, will consumers go for something this basic? Is the affordability crisis that great, or will they hold out for other options?
Wow, that's interesting, Mike. Always good to talk to you. Thank you. Mike Dubosky with us on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
Traffic and Weather Together is brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Let's go back to Jason Jones.
We got a bit of unusual slowdown happening southbound on Binghamton Highway at about 2700 south. Don't see anything on the cameras quite yet, but if anything pops up, we'll be sure and let you know that it's there. But just know that there is some slowing going on. Northbound on I-15 is looking still really good from the point of the mountain to downtown Salt Lake City. No problems there. Over on the west side, other than that Bangor Highway slowdown, nothing on Mountain View Corridor right now. It's the typical delays eastbound on the 201 and out of the construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele. Northbound I-15 in Utah County is looking great at regular speeds to the point of the mountain. Only congestion we're seeing at all is a little bit northbound on the Mountain View Corridor around Harvest Hills. Cormac?
I-15 likewise running very smooth through Weber and Davis counties. It's just the regular city street delays to look at. We got the delays at all the gates into Hill Air Force Base. Right now, the south gate actually looking like the worst of it, especially eastbound on SR 193 as you approach Hillfield Road. And Highway 89 in South Ogden getting the normal congestion at the Harrison Boulevard and Skyline Drive intersections. From Beethoven's Ninth to icons like Idina Menzel, summer sounds better under the stars. Plan your visit today at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 81 today. Pretty pleasant. Partly cloudy skies, 20% chance for showers. You get into the southeast corner of the state, fire danger elevated. 87 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, 20% chance, and a little breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, the start of the 4th of July weekend, mostly sunny and a high of 90. 91 on the 4th of July, mostly sunny. We've got sunshine into Sunday and Monday with highs in the mid and upper 90s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, downtown, 57 degrees. And the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, and a state attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
Hey, Doug, what is it that you do? 'Cause everybody's buying a car from you. Hey, Doug.
Roll into summer in a new Chevy from Doug Smith Chevy in Spanish Fork. We've got cars, trucks, and SUVs perfect for fun under the sun. Together, let's drive.
Hey, Doug.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Cryptocurrency is currently in what some investors are calling crypto winter. A slow-motion crash has eliminated billions of dollars of value from the crypto exchange. In January of this year, Bitcoin was at $96,000 per coin. Today, it has dropped below $60,000 per coin.
Next week, the New York Stock Exchange will be taking their bell on the road. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, says they will be opening the markets from the White House next week to ring in the introduction of the Trump investment accounts given to American children.
Australia's competition regulator has sued Amazon, alleging that Prime customers signed an unfair contract that allowed Amazon to show more ads without compensation. The agency says customers were asked to pay an additional $3 a month to keep their service ad-free and made users sign a contract that allowed them to insert additional ads.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. The Dow futures are down a little bit now, down 41, which is less than a tenth. S&P futures up a fraction, 0.2. NASDAQ futures up 28, which is also less than a tenth of a percent.
The roads have been dry this morning and volumes have been pretty decent, so not much in the way of delay yet. We'll check your commute coming up next.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're one wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Hi, I'm Maria Chaleos, and I'd like to tell you about my podcast, the KSL News Daily. Every weekday morning, we'll deliver one story explored in depth, plus the 3 things you need to know before your day begins.
But this is new. This is where we human beings are able to trick AI.
This is news with context from the journalists you trust.
Agencies were less than willing to speak with us about this.
Find and follow the KSL News Daily at kslpodcast.com or wherever you listen.
KSL News Time is 6:29. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Jason Jones.
Not sure if we just had a couple of slow-moving vehicles or whatever the story was, but whatever delay we had southbound on Bangerter Highway at 2700 South seems to be gone at this point, so we don't have to worry about that. And over on I-15, we have no delays at all. No accidents and good speeds all the way into downtown Salt Lake City. Still seeing the disabled vehicle on the southbound side at the I-80 interchange, but it's not really affecting traffic. Titch slow if you're eastbound 201 and 7200 West, and again through the construction zone at Lake Point in Tooele. But looking pretty fantastic still down in Utah County. Maybe just a few extra cars on the road, Mountain View Corridor at Harvest Hills. Cormac?
City street delays are still waiting for you in Weber and Davis counties. At all the gates into Hill Air Force Base, just normal congestion. Highway 89 in South Ogden at Harrison Boulevard and Skyline Drive. Southbound Highway 89 a little slow approaching the mouth of Weber Canyon. But I-15 and all your other major freeways headed southbound through Weber and Davis counties to get to Salt Lake County, all running at freeway speeds. Join in to celebrate America's 250th anniversary Utah style. Get involved at america250.utah.gov. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to be cooler today. 81 degrees for a high, 87 tomorrow. We keep climbing Thursday, 89. Then we get back up into the 90s on Friday, the low 90s through Saturday. And then we start to climb to the upper 90s by the start of next week. Right now we have clouds and 57 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News
with Andy Farnsworth and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time, 6:30. KSL's top story this hour.
The death toll in Venezuela is over 1,700 as rescue crews continue to dig through the rubble.
More than 5,000 people are also injured after the powerful earthquakes last week. ABC News chief international correspondent James Longman is in Venezuela with more.
Teams from over 20 countries are working around the clock, dogs and drones, carefully navigating the collapsed buildings to find the missing.
Tell her to tuck her feet back in.
In hard-hit La Guaira, where nearly 200 buildings fully collapsed, a U.S. team rescued a 51-year-old woman trapped after a 10-hour effort. And in Carabayeda, the rescue of a 21-year-old man who was buried under the rubble for 106 hours. We met the youngest survivor. Diana managed to keep her 18-day-old son Juan David alive for 30 hours under the rubble.
Rescue crews are also worried about unstable buildings coming down during rescue operations.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is deploying humanitarian aid to Venezuela following the deadly twin earthquakes that rocked the country late last week. According to the Deseret News, the humanitarian response includes about 5,000 assistance kits, which are expected to aid more than 20,000 people in the region. The kits include water, food, and hygiene products for those displaced by the quakes. Pillows, blankets, and mattresses are also being distributed to families staying in temporary shelters.
Fox News Media has issued their own public on-air apologies to Utah organizations who they accused of having ties to China. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis joins us live now. Brianna?
Andy, Alliance for a Better Utah and Elevate Strategies were both targeted by Box Elder County data center investor Kevin O'Leary. He accused them of being funded by China and recently posted a public apology. Following that, 2 Fox News hosts, including Maria Bartiromo, read statements on air.
Fox News Media is likely likewise aware of no evidence that they are funded by or acting at the direction of or in coordination with Chinese interests in opposing Kevin O'Leary's projects. Fox News Media apologizes for the error.
The organizations had been strongly opposed to the data center project. Several people were even individually named by O'Leary and Fox, and one of them wasn't even with either organization at the time. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
One person has died and 2 others have been seriously hurt in an apparent construction accident in Rich County. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, we're learning this happened late yesterday morning in the Monte Cristo area of Rich County. The sheriff's office is telling us some construction workers were installing roof trusses when it appears a gust of wind caused multiple trusses to collapse, knocking 2 men off the roof and pinning another underneath a truss. The sheriff's office says a 56-year-old man was killed and 2 others were taken to the hospital, one of which had to be life-flighted. They also say a 4th worker was injured and treated. At this point, investigators have not indicated anything in terms of foul play. They have called this a tragic accident. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The town of Parowan is coming together to support the families of 2 girls who were involved in an ATV accident earlier this month that left 1 dead and 1 severely injured. Residents of Parowan will be hosting a benefit dinner as well as a softball and baseball tournament to raise money for the families of Dusty Rose Daly and Becca Hale. KSL spoke to some of the friends of the family who say the 2 girls are widely loved by the community and the town will do whatever they can to support their families.
Other national news we're following this morning. A former NBA player is facing federal charges accused of taking part in a sports gambling scheme.
Prosecutors say former NBA player Malik Beasley, who made $60 million during his NBA career, accumulated multi-million-dollar gambling losses. And to pay off what he owed former teammate Ed Davis, agreed to underperform and at times overperform. In the 2024 game between the Milwaukee Bucks and LA Clippers, the indictment says Beasley promised to grab more rebounds than the sportsbooks predicted, soaring in the final seconds to get it done. His co-defendants collecting thousands of dollars from their alleged insider bet.
ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky reporting.
The Department of Justice has announced significant progress in a battle against illegal streams of the World Cup. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has details.
Nearly 400 websites have been seized by the Department of Justice as part of Operation Offsides, a joint effort by police across the world to shut down websites that illegally stream games from the World Cup. According to tech journal Gizmodo, the operation is focused on ending a practice that not only infringes on copyright laws, but also exposes users to significant digital threats like malware and viruses. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic now, and here is Jason Jones.
Looks like that disabled vehicle southbound I-15 at the I-80 interchange has driven off, and so you don't have to worry about that anymore, and we're back to being completely incident-free. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
One neighborhood in Ogden is learning who takes care of broken pipes and road repairs when the local homeowners association dissolves. New residents in the area tell KSL they didn't even know the home they bought had been in an HOA. Utah HOA Ombudsman Aaron Ryder says up to 80% of new homes are being built in HOAs, but they aren't permanent.
You can have HOAs go defunct and just kind of stop operating.
When an HOA dissolves, new buyers should be notified, but that doesn't always happen. Turning over public utilities to the city is complicated, says Ryder. As for the Ogden neighborhood, the city says they'll take over work after residents make updates to the pipes and roads.
The University of Utah is asking the public for their opinion on a potential facelift for the John M. Huntsman Center. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman reports.
They say they're, quote, exploring options to modernize the center. That's the home of Utah's basketball, gymnastics, and volleyball programs. A statement from the athletics department says that sports venue tech and amenities have changed a lot over the nearly 60 years the building has been around, and they think it's time to evolve. The process will start with a feasibility study and a request for community input. A collection of ticket buyers, fans, donors, business partners, and more will receive an email this week with a link to a fan survey where they can offer an opinion on topics like parking, seating, concessions, restrooms, and more. Those emails start going out today, and they'll accept responses through July 14th. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
The University of Utah is spending part of the summer replacing thirsty lawns with landscaping that uses far less water. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera explains why one Utah homeowner says the investment was worth it.
Crews on campus are converting high-water grass areas to xeriscaping in an effort to reduce irrigation. Sean Brannigan installed artificial turf at his Mill Creek home several years ago. He says he's noticed the savings almost immediately.
The water bill is significantly less, especially comparing with my neighbors who, frequently will tell me how much money they're spending on water, and ours has remained fairly consistent.
University officials say projects like these help preserve water while reducing long-term maintenance costs. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Well, heavier traffic starting to creep in on our freeways and city streets. We'll tell you what spots are looking really busy when we check traffic and weather together next.
Here with Miranda Bernard from Huntsman Mental Health. Miranda, with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, what is Huntsman Mental Health Foundation doing to celebrate?
Well, we have a number of programs and initiatives that are in place to celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. People can find out about those at hmhf.org. They can visit us there, learn about the corporate partners who are supporting us, some fun activities and events that we have coming up too.
That's great. And Miranda, why is fundraising so critical to mental health work?
Yeah, fundraising plays a really important part for people to get access to care when they need it. We know that 97% of Americans believe our country is in a mental health crisis, and yet just 2% of philanthropic dollars go to support it. So we're hoping to change that and making sure that nobody has to deal with their mental health challenges alone.
For people that want to support such an important cause, how can they get involved?
People can visit our website at hmhf.org. They can find ways to donate, ways to get involved in some of our community events and other initiatives that we have happening.
For someone that's going through a hard time or that may be struggling or knows someone that's struggling, where can they go to get mental health support?
Well, someone can always call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's available 24/7. It is staffed by professionals from Huntsman Mental Health Institute. We are also really fortunate to have here in our community the Kem and Carolyn Gardner Crisis Care Center in South Salt Lake. I like to think of that as almost like an urgent care or an emergency room for mental health issues. Anyone can walk in any time of the day, no appointment needed. That's available for anyone regardless of their ability to pay. And also there is a youth crisis care program at Huntsman Mental Health Institute's main campus in Research Park.
Miranda Bernard from Huntsman Mental Health, thanks so much for giving us all this great info. If you'd like to learn more, log on to hmhf.org. That's hmhf.org.
KSL News Time is 6:39. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
Looking pretty special right now on I-15 through the Salt Lake Valley into downtown Salt Lake City, but we're seeing the crowding happening over on the west side in your typical spots. Northbound Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South, Bangerter Highway at 41st South, and eastbound on the 201 at 7200 West. It's a little slower now through that construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele as more cars are hitting the road there as well. Northbound I-15 in Utah County is still fantastic up to the point of the mountain, but 2100 North starting to get bogged down now on the eastbound side as you head over towards I-15. That's going to be expected. Delays there, and northbound on Mountain View Corridor around Harvest Hills also getting a bit busier at this point. Cormac?
Right now, the worst roadway in Weber and Davis County is Highway 89 in South Ogden, both directions at Harrison Boulevard and Skyline Drive. That's pretty normal. Where we're seeing it heavier is southbound Highway 89 at the mouth of Weber Canyon near I-84. That's getting pretty heavy now. The gates into Hill Air Force Base all still seeing some pretty heavier traffic, especially in Clearfield northbound. Main Street getting very dense at 650 North. But on I-15, still no delays from Brigham City all the way into Salt Lake. This summer, Jordan Valley Water asks you to water twice a week or less. It helps our community go into next year in a stronger position. Life is better with water. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for a high of 81 today with partly cloudy skies and just a 20% chance for a shower. Overnight, 56, mostly clear to partly cloudy. Tomorrow, breezy, 87, partly cloudy, and a 20% chance to see a little shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 57 degrees downtown. What do you do with a telescope that starts to lose its orbit? The orbit is degrading and it doesn't have any propulsion system on board. So you can't drive it into a safer place. We're going to talk more about that with Jim Ryan coming up in a moment on KSL News Radio.
Streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Time for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating and air, anyhourservices.com.
Can you tell what these people are chanting?
You the cold man say one, please and calling us and I choose all right.
I'm playing this song to help explain the proliferation of texting acronyms. 2- and 3-letter abbreviations that are impossible for the average adult to keep up with. But given that your kids are tapping away, you have to understand these little 3-letter blurts. LOL and BRB. Be right back. But according to Google, here are some acronyms you don't know. These are the ones most searched by Utahns on Google. ATP means at this point. WTW means what's the word? And soon there won't be any words left. All we'll have is ATP, DWIMO, WFH, MIC, KEYMOUSE. By the way, that means at this point, don't worry. In my opinion, work from home. And that last part, well... Thank you, Mickey. But this texting language feels like a lot of nonsense and lost meaning. The nuance of language is replaced by 3-letter finger spasms. Look, there are 17,000 possible combinations of 3 letters, and I think every one is spoken for. Go to Google, try it. Here, GSM, goal scoring machine, PBD. Please be done. And in the context of a world where NGL, PMO, which means not gonna lie, it me off, that's where this song comes in. This is Italian singer Adriano Celentano. This is a hit song in Italy, but it's not in Italian, no. This song is making believe he's singing in American English, but it's actually absolute gibberish. And Italians love it. It makes fun of the way Americans talk. Here, see what you think.
I
would tell you what this song means, but like the text your kids are spitting out, it means nothing.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
When it's hot like this, air conditioners struggle to keep up. Parts are under more stress, and sometimes those parts fail. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and no one helps more homeowners maintain and repair their air conditioners than Any Hour Services. As a matter of fact, last year, over 32,000 homeowners called Any Hour Services for help maintaining and repairing their systems. Any Hour Services has over 100 HVAC technicians to help with everything from maintenance, repair, to installing a new system. This summer, there'll be a lot of people told they need to replace their air conditioner, and they'll wonder, do I really need to? If you're told you need to replace your air conditioner and you still have questions, Any Hour Services can give you a second opinion and let you know what options are available. Maybe it just needs a little maintenance or a small repair. Maybe it does need to be replaced, but if you don't feel good about being told you need to replace your air conditioner, don't ignore those feelings. Call Any Hour Services for help with air conditioner maintenance, repair, or to schedule a free second opinion. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 6:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
we could see monsoon moisture in the near future, but meteorologists say it'll take a lot more than one storm to really turn this wildfire season around. I'm KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce.
Second, 1 man has died and 2 others were taken to the hospital after an apparent construction accident in Rich County.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Looks like we have a disabled vehicle. This is going to be eastbound I-80 at Redwood Road off-ramp. It's blocking the right lane at this point, so stay over to the left. I'm Jason Jones of the KSL Traffic Center.
Our slow warming trend continues today with a high of 81. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, cloudy and 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Around 160 million Americans are under some sort of heat advisory, with alerts up from Kansas to Maine as hot weather steams in. In the West, there is still a very real fire danger from dozens of wildfires burning across 9 states. We're also learning more about the 3 firefighters killed when they were trapped along the Utah-Colorado border.
With new blazes exploding by the day, prompting evacuations. New details about the 3 firefighters killed in the line of duty. The U.S. Forest Service says 38-year-old Emily Barker, 27-year-old Nick Hutcherson, and 27-year-old Sydney Watson forced to use their emergency fire shelters when they became trapped in flames.
ABC's Melissa Adon. The Supreme Court wraps up its term this morning with decisions on trans girls in sports and President Trump's order limiting birthright citizenship. The death toll in the Venezuela earthquakes, now more than 1,700 people as the search continues through ruined buildings. This is ABC News.
Let's go in depth. NASA is spending millions in an effort to save an off-course satellite and prevent it from crashing down to Earth.
ABC News national correspondent Jim Ryan joins us live. What's going on here, Jim?
Well, yeah, it's the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory. It was put up in 2004, and ever since then, the 22 years since, it's been sending back these fascinating, amazing images of stars at the end of their lives, Amanda. Essentially, explosions out in space. But over the last couple of years, the Swift telescope has begun to drop. Its orbit has gotten lower and lower for a couple of reasons. First of all, just nature. It's everything that goes up will come down, but also because of solar flares. The sun's weather patterns have been pushing it down as well. So NASA said, you know what, this thing cost $500 million in 2004. So yeah, let's spend $30 million and see if we can get it back up into orbit, give it another shot at life. So that's what's happening now.
Now, the reason that it doesn't have any propulsion systems of its own, but that sounds like that's not the only problem in trying to get it to move, is they didn't think they were ever going to have to move it.
No, this is just kind of a camera sitting out there in space. It doesn't have handles, doesn't have hooks, doesn't have any way to latch onto it. So that was part of the challenge of this company called Catalyst, to design a robot that can carefully grip onto this thing somehow without damaging it and then hoist it farther up into space. So yeah, that was a big part. So NASA has paid this company, Catalyst, $30 million. And within just the last year, Andy, it's gone from a PowerPoint presentation to ready to go. They were planning on launching it this morning, but the weather was too bad down in the South Pacific where the launch was supposed to take place. And by the way, it isn't even launched in the traditional way. It's not taken out to a rocket somewhere in Florida and shot up vertically. It's loaded up onto a rocket that then is hoisted up into the cargo bay of what used to be an Air Canada passenger jet. So it's flown up to altitude, 35, 40,000 feet. And at the precise moment, the cargo bay opens, the thing drops out. 5 seconds later, the rocket fires and carries this thing off into orbit.
My gosh. And it would seem like, if this robot works, that there might be other uses for it going forward.
Yes, you're onto something there, Amanda. And I suspect that as closely as NASA is watching this, the Pentagon is paying attention as well. Space is expected to be the next battleground. So if it works, if this robot can go up and do repair work on a satellite, could it also sneak over and maybe grab hold of a Chinese spy satellite, point it the wrong way, or maybe crush it, destroy it? Yeah, there's some kind of dark implications there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was thinking you could leave it up in orbit and then fix other ones that broke, but I guess you're right. You could use it for offensive capabilities as well. Wow, that's a lot to think about.
There's a whole new industry.
Yeah. Interesting, Jim. Thank you. Jim Ryan with us on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
It's 6:49 now, and time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Jason Jones.
We find our typical delays on your side streets. Northbound on Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South and Bangerter Highway at 41st South. Eastbound on the 201 at 7200 West. But that's pretty much all we've got going on in the Salt Lake Valley. The I-15 itself is still very, very good. Looking very, very good, I guess I should say, to downtown Salt Lake City with no delays or accidents there. No major problems coming out of Tooele right now to I-80 and the 201. Down in Utah County, it's looking great on I-15. We have some delay on 2100 North, although it's not as bad as it was just about 15 minutes ago. It's getting a little bit better there. But, of course, crowding happening. Corey B. Wright Highway from Eagle Mountain to Saratoga Springs. Cormac?
No delays on I-15 from Brigham City all the way down to North Salt Lake, but it gets a little slow southbound I-15 at Warm Springs Road. And if you get off at Beck Street, do expect that normal construction congestion, although it is 2 lanes now open. Eastbound I-80, that right lane getting normally full from Kimball Junction over to the US 40 turnoff. Magnolia Bakery, New York's famous bakery, now open in Holiday Hills. Fresh banana pudding, cupcakes, and more. Magnolia Bakery in Holiday, where every bite feels like a trip to New York. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 81 today, partly cloudy skies, and a slight chance for a pop-up in the afternoon. I think a lot of the activity stays in the mountains. Similar performance by clouds on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 20% chance, 87 breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, 90, up to 91, mostly sunny on your 4th of July. Then we'll go to mid and upper 90s Sunday and Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 57 degrees downtown. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. We have a really exciting program coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. and it's hosted by Doug Wright.
Yeah, it's called Utah Unites America 250, and it's in part of the celebration of America's 250th birthday. We wanted to do something where we said, you know what? We want to show that we can still be on opposite sides of issues, but we can still talk to each other civilly, and we can still be friends about this. Yeah. And so this is what we got. We got Doug moderating, and it's not really a debate, it's a discussion.
It's a town hall,
Yeah, a town hall. And there will be questions that people have submitted, and they'll be answered by former Governor Mike Leavitt, longtime state rep and now chair of the Utah Democratic Party Brian King, and community activist Gabby Finlayson, who's the founding partner at Elevate Strategy. So 3 different perspectives, 3 different ways of looking at these things. So when the questions come through, everybody can talk. Nobody's going to shout each other down.
Yeah.
And we're going to be like, hey, remember when discussions used to be like this?
And it's all hosted by Doug Wright. It's 11 a.m. tomorrow here on KSL News Radio.
Amanda, I talk about this. The movie show goes to Sound Sleep a lot. And it's a personal kind of a passion for me because before I got my sleep apnea diagnosed and treated, I thought I had issues with my prostate. Mm-hmm. I thought that I was just never going to get a full night's sleep again. And when I did, my goodness, this is one of those times where you say you don't know what you don't know. This is one of those times. You don't know what you're missing out on if you're not getting the sleep you're supposed to be getting.
I woke up with a headache every day for years. And I really did. I just wrote it off to age. I thought, well, of course I don't get a good night's sleep. Of course I'm tired. I get up so early. I mean, it's my lifestyle. It's my age. And then when I met the people from Sound Sleep and I told them about some of my symptoms, they were like, well, you ought to just have it checked. And I had it checked, and son of a gun, I was blown away at how many times per minute I stopped breathing in the night. It was just freaking me out. And when I corrected it with this simple device that I just sleep with, I pop it right in. It's fit directly to me. And they adjusted it a couple of times. I started waking up with no headache. I started waking up with more energy, and I thought, why didn't I treat this sooner?
Exactly, and that's what we want to recommend our friends at Sound Sleep because they've got 6 locations in Utah: Clearfield, Murray, Sandy, American Fork, Provo, and St. George. They're all close by. You'll do a test with them,
and the test is super
that you
easy.
take home.
You take home, you do it one night, you take it back, you drop it off. It's super easy.
They go over your numbers with you, and then what they're not going to recommend is a CPAP machine. So even if you're somebody who has tried a CPAP machine and it didn't work, and you're just like, I give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Right.
Because you've got Sound Sleep that can help. And this is a completely different way. It's really convenient. It's oral appliance therapy.
And we've reported for forever about how sleep affects so many other issues, so many other heart problems and depression and stroke and even risk of Alzheimer's and things. So don't let this go. Go and have it tested. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Give them a call, 801-716-8672. Mention that Andy and Amanda sent you. They'll take great care of you. 801-716-8672 for Sound Sleep.
For 250 years, the beating heart of the USA has been the people who call this land home and the communities we make here together. America First Credit Union is proud to have been a part of those communities for 87 years and proud to help our members realize their financial dreams. So come join us in celebrating and succeeding the way Americans always have. Together. Federally insured by NCUA.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. President Trump has warned gas retailers that they must lower prices immediately or face, quote, big problems. In a post on Truth Social, the president instructed gas stations to aim for $2.50 at the pump.
Some Americans are finding themselves unable to retire due to student loans. According to the Wall Street Journal, baby boomers with federal student loans owe an average of $45,000, more than 3 times that of borrowers in their early 20s.
The American Pyrotechnics Association expects one of their biggest years of sales to date, despite a statewide firework ban in Utah. Last year, they sold over $2.3 billion in fireworks, and they're expecting this year to be even bigger for America's birthday.
Futures are down a little bit. Dow futures down 30, S&P down 1. The NASDAQ futures down 11.
Traffic's slowing down as you come out of Davis County right now and coming into Salt Lake City on I-15. We'll check your commute next.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that can make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 801-896-9622. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be 6 figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
As America celebrates 250 years of innovation and hard work, Alsco Uniforms is proud to be part of Utah's story, serving local businesses since 1895. For more than 135 years, they've helped companies focus on what they do best, while Alsco Uniforms handles the laundry. From uniforms to linens to mats, towels, and safety supplies, they keep businesses clean, professional, and running strong. Rooted in Utah, built on service, ready for the next generation. Alsco Uniforms, proud to support America 250 and the businesses that keep it moving. Visit alsco.com.
KSL Brightside.
All I've been watching for the last 5 minutes is just you caressing and fondling that ice cream.
With Ethan and Alex.
I'm never gonna dance again.
So I just assumed it was you.
KSL Brightside. Streaming from 1 to 3 on YouTube or on the KSL News Radio app.
Looking for your next great adventure? Visit KSL.com/win and enter this week's KSL News Radio contest. Step back in time with this week's America 250 contest to win a trip to Vernal, Utah, courtesy of America First Credit Union. Plus, saddle up for a chance to win tickutes to the Ute Stampede Rodeo, one of Utah's largest rodeo celebrations. Don't miss your chance to win. Visit KSL.com/win today and get entered. That's KSL.com/win.
KSL News Time, 6:59. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Jason Jones.
We've seen the volume increase northbound I-15 in through the Murray area at about 5300 south, but there's no major delays there, just extra cars on the road, of course, which will make traveling a little bit tricky through there. But otherwise, I-15 is still looking pretty good in the Salt Lake Valley. Crowded northbound on Mountain View Corridor at 3500 south, Bangerter Highway at 41st south. Again, all typical delays, as is the eastbound at 7200 west, and slow through the construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele. I-15 remains clear in Utah County, but 2100 north kind of ebbs and flows, and right now it's sort of ebbing, I guess I should say, as it's getting a little bit heavier headed over towards I-15. Cormac?
Got some southbound I-15 delays in Weber County now, approaching 31st Street. Might have just some light congestion there due to construction zones, maybe. Southbound I-15 also pretty slow coming from Davis County into Salt Lake County at Warm Springs Road. And if you get off at Beck Street, right now Beck Street itself looking pretty good. Do expect that construction congestion though. And then Victory Road transitioning is pretty heavy as you approach the Capitol. Eastbound I-80 still very slow in that right lane from Kimball Junction over to US 40. Looking for a new ride? Doug Smith's offers great savings on new and used vehicles. Big selection, great prices, and great people. Visit us in American Fork, Spanish Fork, Linden, or at heydoug.net. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll get up to 81 today, 87 tomorrow, 89 on Thursday. Friday, we're back into the low 90s. Right now, we've got cloudy skies and 57 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. I'm Andy Farnsworth.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
Utah Fire Watch.
Officials now believe the Cottonwood fire burning east of Beaver has burned down about 150 buildings.
Police are going to let some people go up the mountain today to finally get a look at their properties. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, officials say the buildings burned down includes not only homes but also sheds, outbuildings, and RVs. And though in good news, they say they were able to protect 130 buildings from the flames, which have now scorched almost 94,000 acres. And today, police are going to start escorting some people up the mountain so they can check on their properties for the first time since the fire started last week. Though David Erickson tells KSL he already knows his family cabin is gone, though he's grateful for the memories he had there.
Oh, it's the most beautiful place in the world to us. So, it'll grow back, but it's going to take time. It's changed in an instant. You just never know what's going to happen.
And in more good news, crews have finally been able to make some progress in terms of containment. The fire is now 4% contained. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Fires are continuing to burn across Utah, but firefighters are working fast to get them under control. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis continues our live team coverage. Utah Fire Watch. Brianna?
Andy, there are 2 large fires burning that are still at zero containment. The Babylon fire in San Juan County at 38,000 acres, closing the Needles District and several areas in the Bears Ears National Monument, and the Snyder fire in Grand Junction that killed 3 firefighters over the weekend is at a little over 30,000 acres. And firefighters have made some progress on the Wild Goose fire in Millard County, containing 7%. In Iron County, the Sawmill fire is close to containment at 82%, and the Iron Fire burning across Juab, Utah, and Tooele counties is nearly all contained. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
One firefighter in Draper says he knows the pain of losing a friend and colleague after hearing about the deaths of 3 wildland firefighters over the weekend.
You just think to yourself, that can't be what I just heard. That can't be real.
Draper Chief Clint Smith says his friend Chief Matt Burchett died while fighting a wildfire in Northern California. He says you never expect to hear this news, and while he didn't know the firefighters who recently died, the loss still feels personal.
Utah's on track to get monsoon moisture a little earlier than normal, but it could still take weeks to put a dent in the wildfires burning statewide. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce reports.
KSL meteorologist Kevin Eubank tells me we're on track to see an active monsoon season, and soon.
That would be a great thing if we can get more rain with those monsoonal storms instead of convection and lightning. So that's a big deal, and we hope that we can bring that in here in the next couple of weeks as we roll into the month of July.
But he cautions when you're talking about fires in the tens of thousands up to 100,000 acres, one storm isn't going to cut it. It all helps just the same. But he notes we have a return to hotter and drier weather coming up over Independence Day. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Today is expected to be a big day for the United States Supreme Court. We're expecting to get at least 2 major decisions today. Among those is the president's attempt to block birthright citizenship. ABC's Karen Hua reports.
Trump's order would deny automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S. to parents who are undocumented or only in the U.S. temporarily. Even some of the conservative justices seem skeptical of the Trump administration's case during arguments in the spring.
ABC's Devin Dwyer took a deeper look at the issue and says many parents are worried their children would become stateless.
If a child is stateless, that means that they wouldn't have access to any identification.
Conchita Cruz leads one of the groups suing the government to block Trump's order.
We've heard from so many asylum seekers who are so scared that even though they have legal status here in the United States, that their child would be born undocumented, that they're at risk of their child being deported, that their child could be separated from them.
The Trump administration says only babies born after the order takes effect will be impacted, insisting children of unlawful immigrants and temporary visitors have no formal allegiance to the U.S. and therefore shouldn't qualify for citizenship.
We're expecting the ruling around 8 o'clock this morning, and we'll share it with you live here on KSL News Radio.
Fallout from yesterday's rulings. The Supreme Court has blocked President Donald Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over allegations of gross negligence. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the details.
President Trump was very interested in the Federal Reserve moving to reduce interest rates, which it still has not done, even with under new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh. But writing for the 5-member majority on the Supreme Court yesterday, Chief Justice Roberts points to the historic reasons for the Fed's independence from politics, from pressure from a president. And Roberts quotes Alexander Hamilton, saying that there would be suspicion of the central bank's decisions if it were, quote, at the disposal of the government.
The 5-4 ruling upholds the limits on the president and preserves the institution's historical independence.
First look traffic on the 7 o'clock report, and here's Jason Jones.
I-15 continues to roll right along on the northbound side in the Salt Lake Valley. It's still seeing that little bit of slowing southbound I-15 from about 2300 north down through Rose Park. I'm Jason Jones of the KSL Traffic Center.
Counties across Utah are holding more than 170 events as part of the America 250 celebration. Details from KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
While many cities and towns are choosing to ban personal fireworks, some are designating areas where those fireworks are going to be allowed. In addition, several communities are planning to host fireworks displays. There are also other events like Salt Lake City's annual drone show, several parades and music festivals, and several places are doing America's 250 potluck meals.
A complete listing of events can be found on Utah's America 250 website.
Several towns are canceling festivities altogether because of the wildfires and drought conditions. Beaver has officially canceled all of their Independence Day activities that include plans for vendors at the park and fireworks shows. The mayor says this is the best decision for the safety and well-being of the community. And the town of Torrey is canceling its Apple Days and America 250 fireworks show. Town leaders say the extreme fire danger across Utah and the deployment of Wayne County volunteer firefighters to active wildfire operations is what drove them to this decision.
Lehi is the latest Utah city banning the use of personal fireworks. The city set some fire areas where fireworks were allowed previously, but those are now being suspended. Instead, Lehi is encouraging residents to come see their firework display at Thanksgiving Point.
If you're thinking of storing your fireworks until next year because of the ban this year, you may want to think again. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
There can be some pretty serious hazards with storing fireworks.
But Ogden Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess understands that people who've invested a lot of money into this year's fireworks don't want to just let that money go down the drain. In that case, people need to take precautions.
A container separate from everything else and away from anything that could cause, any type of combustion or be any sparks or other flammable household utilities.
Hess says if you have a shed or something away from your house, that could be even better. And if a chemical comes in contact with them, you need to soak them in water for 24 hours and discard them. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Officers with the Division of Natural Resources say they will be keeping a close eye on the waterways this weekend, looking for people driving drunk.
The number one factor in recreational boating fatalities is alcohol and drug use.
Ranger Chris Nelson says all too often people get behind the wheel of a boat intoxicated. So this weekend, he and others will be watching to make sure everyone is staying safe. They'll also be asking about life jackets and other issues. Nelson says it's their priority to make sure everyone is being safe and having a good time.
On Monday, Alaska Airlines unveiled a custom cart for the transport of fallen military members at the Salt Lake City International Airport. The cart was built as part of a program that has made 18 similar carts for other airports. The program was begun after 2 Alaska Airlines technicians saw someone mishandle the remains of a fallen service member and formed an all-volunteer group to make sure that didn't happen again. The carts bear the emblems of all 6 branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, with the Utah state flag and a rendition of the Salt Lake City skyline.
KSL News Time is 7:09. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s is brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
Andy, we haven't really seen any problems materialize northbound on I-15. You're still going to run at good speeds all the way from the point of the mountain to downtown Salt Lake City. Like I said before, we have seen increased volume, but so far that's not really caused any slowdowns to happen on I-15. It's even looking better over on the west side, Mountain View Corridor, Bangerter Highway, just some minor spots here and there where you're going to hit the brakes, but really nothing major going on. Likewise, eastbound on the 201 and through the construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele. It's just really been a fantastic commute all day, which is nice headed into this holiday weekend. Down in Utah County, it's pretty much the same thing. No problems on I-15. If you're headed up into Provo Canyon, that's looking fantastic. The only volume that has really caused any problems or slowdowns at all is eastbound on 2100 North, headed over towards I-15. Cormac?
No delays on I-15 through Weber and Davis counties, but it does get a little slow as you come into Salt Lake near Warm Springs Road. If you get off at Beck Street, do expect that normal construction delay. And Victory Road also pretty heavy as you approach the Capitol. But otherwise, roadways looking pretty good. Still that right lane very full on eastbound I-80 approaching the US 40 turnoff. Although those delays have started to ease up too, it's not quite reaching back to Kimball Junction right now. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. Partly cloudy skies at 7 a.m. with temperatures in the mid and upper 50s. A refreshingly cool start today. Into the lunch hour, we got mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid 70s. And this afternoon, partly cloudy with highs topping right around 81 and a slight chance for a mountain shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 59 degrees downtown. What do you do if your HOA disappears, but your need for infrastructure doesn't disappear? You still need good roads and water sources, etc. We'll learn more from Matt Gephardt just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Bad weather has forced NASA to postpone the launch of a first-of-its-kind project. ABC's Jim Ryan says the space agency will try again tomorrow to send a satellite-fixing robot on a mission to save a doomed space telescope.
Since 2004, the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory has been sending back amazing images of stars at the end of their lives, but it's suddenly dropping out of its orbit.
If we do nothing, Swift will re-enter the atmosphere
And burn up, says NASA's Regina Caputo.
and so there's nothing to lose.
An aerospace startup called Catalyst has been hired to design and deploy a robot to hook up to the Swift telescope and haul it approximately 100 miles higher, extending its life by a decade. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
We're learning more about a fatal alligator attack on a woman swimming in a river in Florida. ABC's Victor Akendo.
At a river north of Orlando, Florida, a woman swimming with friends attacked by a large alligator, her boyfriend desperately trying to pry her from its mouth. Officials say the 31-year-old woman from Orlando was swimming in about 3 feet of water on Sunday, the woman dying on the way to the hospital. It's the third alligator attack in Central Florida in the last week. A child fishing at a resort was bitten on his hand, and a snorkeler was mauled at a state park.
The 3 alligator attacks are unrelated.
You may see a new side of the Loveland Aquarium on July 18th as they open their doors for Sharks After Dark, a 21 and over late-night ocean experience. According to the aquarium's website, visitors will be able to grab specialty cocktails and explore the aquarium with accompanying music from a live DJ. The aquarium says seeing them in a whole new light will allow visitors to notice creatures who may not be active during the day.
A collection of LGBTQ organizations across Utah are banding together to provide free access to books that have been banned in Utah public schools. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, the Read Between the Bands program is partnering with bookstores like the King's English Bookshop, Under the Umbrella, the Legendarium, and more to give away books at events and raffles like last weekend's Pride Parade. The program says they will stop the raffles when the state stops the practice of removing titles from shelves statewide.
Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report, a video from the Miami Marlins Bark at the Park event has gone viral, not because of a grand slam, but over a hot dog.
Hot dog! Bark at the Park is the night when the stadium opens their door to man's best friend, and one such pup was 6-year-old Jonah, who went viral when the Jumbotron caught his longing look at another dog who was being fed a hot dog by their owner.
I can just imagine. Every dog has their day, however, and Jonah's owners were contacted by the Marlins to give him a dream day at the ballpark with as many hot dogs as he wants. Jonah's owner said, however, his favorite food isn't even hot dogs. It's actually ice cream.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
KSL News Time is 7:14. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
officials now estimate 150 buildings have been burned down in the Cottonwood fire near Beaver, and today some will finally get to go up and check on their properties. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Beaver has officially canceled all of their Independence Day activities because of the Cottonwood fire.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Still no major delays on I-15, just a few extra cars on the road, but it's going to be pretty good speeds all the way into wherever it is you're headed this morning. I'm Jason Jones of the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies today with a slight chance for a high mountain shower. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A life-threatening heat dome planted over the Midwest is moving east, putting at least 160 million Americans under some sort of weather advisory or warning today.
In the Midwest, the feel-like temperature topping 100 degrees from Kansas City to Chicago. That extreme heat spreading east with more than 150 million Americans under heat alerts. Philadelphia, New York, and Boston expecting heat index readings of 100 degrees or more for several days.
ABC's Lana Moise, ABC's Melissa Adan has more on the drought and wind-driven wildfires in the West.
Nearly 40 large wildfires are currently burning across 9 states. In Utah, the city of Beaver canceling its July 4th celebrations amid the blazes. The state's Cottonwood fire, the largest in the country, already growing to more than 146 square miles, roughly the size of the city of Philadelphia. Shane Gadbaugh's ski resort largely devastated by the fire.
It's bad.
It's like a war zone.
with new blazes exploding by the day.
3 firefighters killed in Utah fires over the weekend. After President Trump said the Iranians had called him asking for more ceasefire talks in Doha, envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner flew there, where the Iranians now say there are no face-to-face meetings, only discussions with mediators. Here's ABC security contributor Mick Mulroy.
It's a 2-hour flight between Tehran and Doha, so there's no excuse for the Iranians not to show up. That's just one of another reasons why they aren't taking this MOU seriously. They still control the Strait of Hormuz. They're still firing at commercial vessels, and they won't even show up to negotiations to get into a framework for a nuclear discussion.
A couple of big rulings expected from the Supreme Court today, including one on birthright citizenship. There's a search underway for a suspect in an explosion at an apartment in Monaco that injured 3, including a Ukrainian tycoon. This is ABC News.
An Ogden neighborhood is raising money after being surprised by fees that would normally fall to a homeowners association.
KSL TV's Matt Gephardt tells us how this happened.
A water main break meant more than just water rising to the surface. An unknown problem also arose.
It's been out for about almost 4 days now.
At least it was unknown to Wesley Steed. Steed did as one does when a water line breaks. He called the water people, in this case, Ogden City. That's to whom he pays his bill. The city shut off the water, but they will not repair the pipe. Why?
According to the city, we are all on privately owned roads and water pipes. They stated that we were under an HOA.
A homeowners association? That's news to Wesley. When he bought his home, nobody said anything about an HOA, he says.
Have you ever paid an HOA? No HOA fees because there is no HOA.
No fees means no reserve fund for maintenance, and no HOA means no mechanism to get the pipe fixed. The chaos of all of this was accentuated when we walked around the corner and a neighbor whom Wesley had never met before came up and asked what we were doing.
I'm a reporter at Channel 5, and I hear you guys are without water.
Well, not after we just paid to fix it ourselves.
You did just pay to fix it yourself?
We paid to fix it ourselves.
Crystal Bias told me she got these same answers from Ogden City as Wesley.
We've been told that this was a dissolved HOA.
Yeah.
No one is really informed when they move in.
Can that really be how it works? Neighbors suddenly responsible for community infrastructure they had no idea they owned? Yeah. And it actually happens more than you might think, says Utah's HOA ombudsman Aaron Ryder.
Without the structure, it gets really complicated really fast.
About 80% of new homes now being built in an HOA community. There is no guarantee that your HOA will stick around, Ryder says.
You can have HOAs go defunct and just kind of stop operating.
There is a better way, a more formal process to dissolve an HOA, but it's complicated and it can be expensive, so it does not happen very often, Ryder says. But no matter which way an HOA goes away, that does not mean things like roads, parks, pools, private water lines suddenly become the city's responsibility.
That doesn't just default to the city. The city you have to negotiate with the city or with the county to actually have them take it over.
And in this case, Ogden City says that did not happen. A city spokesperson wrote that had it come to it, the city may have stepped in to repair the line, but that they'd be sending the bill on to the residents. As for the future of the infrastructure, Ogden said, if a community wanted to enter an agreement with the city to convey these streets and infrastructure to the city, this scenario would likely require significant investment by the owners in order to bring the streets and infrastructure to a standard that the city would accept.
We had to have water.
As for Crystal, Wesley, and their neighbors, the water is now back on thanks to one homeowner stepping up. And now comes the awkward part, knocking on doors.
Say, can you help us out?
What happens if your neighbors say, sorry, we can't?
Then I'm stuck paying the bill.
Wow. Our thanks to KSL TV's Matt Gephardt on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
Time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn more how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Jason Jones.
Well, Andy, it's been pretty much a fantastic commute all morning long. We haven't had any major accidents. In fact, really no minor accidents either. A couple of disabled vehicles here and there. But the volume on the road has remained pretty steady with no major increases, and so there's no major delays right now. Through the Salt Lake Valley, it's looking fantastic into downtown Salt Lake City. And you're a bit crowded, of course, northbound Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South and Bangerter Highway in this 4100 South, but no major problems there. It's still looking great through that construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele. No problems down in Utah County at this point. 2100 North is a little bit busy, but nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe people getting an early start for their 4th of July weekend. That's the only thing I can think of what's going on, but we're liking it at this point. Cormac?
I-15 also is cleared up through Weber and Davis counties and all the way into Salt Lake, no longer slow near Warm Springs Road. But eastbound I-80, we have a little bit of new delays showing up in the Mountain Dell Reservoir area. We've had calls and texts before telling us that that's as you come through Parley's Canyon and the sun comes up, the sun shines right into your eyes near that turn, so that might be why it's slow there. But eastbound I-80 between Kimball Junction and the US 40 turnoff, that right lane, still very full as you approach US 40. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, endless possibilities with 3 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, and Performance Toyota, where excellence is standard. Start your search at performancebountiful.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 81 today. Pretty pleasant. Partly cloudy skies, 20% chance for showers. You get into the southeast corner of the state, fire danger elevated. 87 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, 20% chance, and a little breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, the start of the 4th of July weekend, mostly sunny and a high of 90. 91 on the 4th of July, mostly sunny. We've got sunshine into Sunday and Monday with highs in the mid and upper 90s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 59 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. For 160 years, PNC Bank has built its reputation on strong client relationships and personalized financial guidance. By combining local expertise with national resources, they help businesses, families, and communities achieve their goals. Regional President Gavin Young joins us with more.
At PNC, our strength lies in local relationships and delivery backed by the resources of one of the country's largest banks. That means our local clients get the best of both worlds: powerful big bank capabilities delivered by people who understand Utah's dynamic businesses, the local economy, and our community. Our team doesn't just work here, they live and raise their families here, and like you, they are invested in the success of our region. We're here for the long term. In fact, we're excited to soon open our new corporate office in downtown Salt Lake City, another step in our continued investment in Utah's growth and future. At PNC, we believe the smartest banking is also the most consistent and dependable. That's why we're proud to be brilliantly boring, focused on doing the right things the right way every day. Learn more at pnc.com.
As Utah continues to grow, PNC Bank remains committed to being a trusted partner in that progress. Their focus on people, relationships, and community investment is helping strengthen the connections that move Utah forward. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Hey, Holiday, New York just got a whole lot closer. Magnolia Bakery, New York's famous bakery since 1996, is now open in Holiday Hills. Craving something iconic? Step into a true neighborhood bakery experience using simple, high-quality ingredients to create baked fresh daily American classics, including the world-famous banana pudding, cupcakes, cakes, cheesecakes, and more. Magnolia Bakery is known around the world. It's the taste of New York, served fresh and locally owned and operated right here in Utah, bringing that legendary charm home to Holiday Hills. It's more than just a delicious dessert stop. It's worth a visit. You've seen Magnolia Bakery on Saturday Night Live and more. Now it's your turn to see what the buzz is all about. Find the authentic Big Apple sweetness at 1895 East Rodeo Walk Drive in Holiday, where the Cottonwood Mall used to be. Open every day, including Sunday. Magnolia Bakery in Holiday Hills, where every day deserves dessert. A New York City bite without the flight.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com. A new company called Brick is helping people stop scrolling when their old willpower alone fails. The device is a little gray box with an accompanying app that will allow people to program a lock on their phones. Now, the lock won't allow them to scroll on apps until they find the brick and tap the phone. So it's supposed to help you curb the urges.
Hey, if that's what it takes, Then why not?
I'm in favor.
Gold is continuing to fall as it threatens to drop past the 4,000 mark. This is the lowest it's been since November of last year and nearly $1,000 down per ounce.
Crews in Draper broke ground on the first phase of a brand new development called The Point. The development will be a large community that will feature businesses, restaurants, homes, and high walkability. This is only the first phase, and construction won't be expected to finish until 2029.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. Just a few minutes before the opening bell, the Dow futures down 41. That's about a tenth. S&P futures down 2, just a fraction. The Nasdaq futures down 17, which is also a fraction.
Only a few minor slow spots on our freeways to report at the moment. We'll check your commute coming up next.
Think about this. What if 4 weeks from now you felt totally different? Your clothes fit different, your energy was different. I'm talking about 4 weeks and what can change in that short amount of time with SodaDietAndNutrition.com.
I'll tell you what, quite a bit
Yeah.
can change. And I can tell you that from personal experience twice, that in 4 weeks, depending on how disciplined you are, you can let go of up to 20 to 25 pounds in 4 weeks.
How different would you feel? Because most people only want to lose like 20, 25 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost 37 pounds with Soda Diet Nutrition. I've kept it off for coming up on 4 years now because it's not temporary. What they teach you is how to change your relationship with food for life.
Yeah, you work with a certified nutritionist to help you, and in 4 weeks you can have that kind of results. And why are we talking about 4 weeks, Amanda? It's because Soda Diet and Nutrition has an amazing offer right now.
Get 4 weeks for free. This is their big summer offer, so why not do it? Think about the change that can happen in 4 weeks, and you'll get 4 weeks for free when you mention KSL. So call 866-800-SODA, S-O-T-A, or go to SodaDietAndNutrition.com.
Look, you walk away healthier, more confident. You're free from chasing the next expensive fix, and it works.
Yeah, it works.
That's the best part. Go to SodaDietAndNutrition.com. That's S-O-T-A, dietandnutrition.com to get more information, to see the before and after pics. And remember, 4 weeks free if you mention KSL when you sign up.
Because soda is, say it with me, Andy,
State of the art.
KSL Brightside.
All I've been watching for the last 5 minutes is just you caressing and fondling that ice cream.
With Ethan and Alex.
I'm never gonna dance again.
So I just assumed it was you.
KSL Brightside. Streaming from 1 to 3 on YouTube or on the KSL News Radio app.
729, traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Jason Jones.
Your accident-free commute continues now, and northbound I-15 still looking really good through the Salt Lake Valley with excellent speeds. May just be a little bit slow right past the South Interchange headed into Murray, but no major delay there. No major delay really anywhere in the Salt Lake Valley. It's a little bit heavy, of course, if you're northbound Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway at 3500 South, but no, like I said, no major delays. Down in Utah County, it's pretty much the same thing. It's going to be good speeds all the way up to I-15, and just a little bit of heaviness if you are eastbound on 2100 North and Mountain View Corridor. Headed up around Harvest Hills in Saratoga Springs. Those are your really only major slow spots. Cormac?
Southbound I-15 delays in Davis County starting to arrive right at the West Davis Corridor merge where you get out of Farmington and approach Centerville, and then a little slow in Bountiful approaching 26 South in Woods Cross. But it clears up as you get into Salt Lake. Eastbound I-80, that right lane still a little slow approaching the US 40 turnoff, but those delays have eased up quite a bit in the last couple minutes. Your dream kitchen starts at Bedrock Quartz. Visit a showroom near you or explore surfaces online at bedrockquartz.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at the weather forecast for today. 81 will be our high with a few clouds. 87 tomorrow. We get up to 89 on Thursday. Then we're back in the 90s starting on Friday. 91 for the 4th of July, which is cooler than a lot of parts of the country. Then we get up close to 100 starting on Monday. Right now we have mostly cloudy skies and 59 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News
with Andy Farnsworth and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time, 7:30. KSL's top story this hour.
One person has died and several others were injured in a construction accident in northeastern Utah.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small joins us live now with the details. Adam?
Andy, we're learning this happened late yesterday morning in the Monte Cristo area of Rich County. The Rich County Sheriff's Office tells us some construction workers were installing roof trusses when it appears a gust of wind caused multiple trusses to collapse, knocking 2 men off of the roof and pinning another underneath a truss. The Sheriff's Office says a 56-year-old man was killed. 2 other men were taken to the hospital. One of them had to be life-flighted. His injuries were so severe. And they say a 4th worker was also injured and treated. At this point, investigators have not said anything indicating anything like foul play. At this point, they are calling this a tragic accident. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Up to 80% of new homes are being built in a homeowners association. But are they sticking around, and will new homeowners be notified? One neighborhood in Ogden found themselves without water when they discovered they live in a defunct HOA. Utah HOA Ombudsman Aaron Ryder says when an HOA dissolves, the utilities don't just automatically transfer over.
That doesn't just default to the city. The city you have to negotiate with the city or with the county to actually have them take it over.
One community member had to step up to pay for the repairs, and now community members are trying to turn their utilities over.
As Utah looks for ways to conserve water, the University of Utah is replacing thousands of square feet of grass with drought-friendly landscaping. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera found one homeowner who says making a similar change at his home has paid off.
The U says one of its recent xeriscaping projects is expected to save about 1.5 million gallons of water every year. Mill Creek homeowner Sean Brannigan made the switch to artificial turf himself and said he'd do it again.
I wouldn't even hesitate. It is such a nice option. It definitely cuts down on all maintenance, and it looks good all year round, which is great.
The university says it's removed about 50,000 square feet of turf across campus in the past year as part of its broader water conservation efforts. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
The John M. Huntsman Center may look different in a few years. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman explains.
The University of Utah says they're exploring options to modernize the 57-year-old sports venue. Starting with a feasibility study and a fan survey, they're sending emails out to a handful of ticket buyers, fans, donors, and more, asking where improvements can be made. Things like parking, concessions, or even the restrooms inside the building. The athletics department says technology is evolving, and the stadium should too.
The stadium is home to the university's basketball teams, gymnastics, and volleyball programs.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The death toll in Venezuela has climbed to 1,719. Chief international correspondent James Longman reports from La Guaira near the epicenter.
We just saw building after building after building flattened, like concertina, pancaked, and you can see kind of strips of concrete where apartments once were. We saw, the streets, basically, it feels like the concrete on the roads is all kind of wavy. It's like they've been ripped up like carpets and put back down again. Massive cracks along the street. One tall building we saw, which was essentially split in half. Such was the force of this double earthquake.
More than 5,000 people were injured, and responders are still trying to rescue people from under the rubble.
Severe heat is moving through the U.S. from the Midwest to the Northeast. It's expected to bring record-breaking high temperatures as America 250 celebrations take place. ABC meteorologist Lee Goldberg reports.
The heat's peaking over the Midwest right now. There are ridge-riding thunderstorms across the upper lakes. We have heat alerts from Kansas to Maine. It'll be triple digits again in Chicago and Green Bay, feeling like 105 to 110. The heat gets to the East Coast on Wednesday. Large swath of the I-95 corridor on Wednesday. It'll be 100 in Detroit and D.C. and near 100 in Philly and New York by Thursday and potentially into Friday. This peaks on Thursday and Friday, but less extreme heat could mean more thunderstorms for the 4th right here in New York.
Temperatures in Salt Lake City are expected to be in the mid to low 90s through the weekend.
First look traffic. Here's Jason Jones.
No major delays and no major accidents. Volume has increased a little bit on I-15, but still just slowdowns are very minor as you head into downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Fox News and Fox Business have both issued on-air apologies to Utah organizations for making claims that they were connected to China. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis joins us live. Brianna?
Amanda, these apologies follow one made by Stratos celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary, who posted on his Facebook page he had no evidence that Alliance for a Better Utah, Elevate Strategies, Taylor Knuth, or Josh Canther are funded by the Chinese Communist Party. And over the weekend, on-air Fox host Johnny Joey Jones read a statement.
Fox News Media is likewise aware of no evidence that they are funded by or acting on the direction or in coordination with Chinese interests in opposing Mr. O'Leary's project.
Audio from the online news organization Mediaite. A business anchor also read the same statement on air. Taylor Knuth told Business Insider it was nice to have an apology from Fox, but is still confused on why he was called out in the first place. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A former NBA player is facing federal charges accused in a sports gambling scheme. ABC News chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky reports.
Prosecutors say former NBA player Malik Beasley, who made $60 million during his NBA career, accumulated multi-million-dollar gambling losses. And to pay off what he owed former teammate Ed Davis, agreed to underperform and at times overperform. The indictment quoted text messages allegedly between Beasley and Davis, who is also facing charges. Only way you can beat Vegas is sports betting. Everything else, they got the edge, Davis wrote.
Beasley is alleged to have made hundreds of thousands of dollars by giving bettors information on how he would play.
Watch parties continue across Utah as teams advance in the FIFA World Cup. So far, Canada, Morocco, Paraguay, and Brazil have advanced to the round of 16. Today, France will play Sweden, the Ivory Coast will play Norway, and Gustavo's Mexico will play Ecuador. Team USA will return to the field tomorrow.
The Department of Justice has brought the hammer down on illegal World Cup streams, but they say their fight isn't over. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott explains.
On Friday, the Department of Justice announced that they seized almost 400 websites accused of streaming an unauthorized version of the FIFA World Cup matches. According to the DOJ, it is a big blow to an industry that heavily infringes on copyright and poses a significant threat to users. They say anyone streaming games on those websites expose themselves to a high risk of malware and viruses. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
Well, the roadways are struggling on some city streets. The freeways have actually held up pretty well for the most part this morning. We'll check your commute next.
My internet service is rock solid. In fact, it's the most intelligent Wi-Fi you can get. When it detects a problem, it even heals itself. In my house, we're connected with Xfinity Wi-Fi. It hits every corner of the house and it's built for speed. Sometimes I even do my show from home and I never have to worry about losing the connection because Xfinity Wi-Fi is powered by fiber, 99.999% reliability, and even better. The grandkids can watch a movie, play games, my wife can surf, and I'm still rock solid on KSL. And the best part is you can lock in 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with the best equipment. 5 years, same price, no contracts or commitments. You get everything you need. Data, equipment, plus you'll be online within minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. 5 years, same price, no contract. Go to Xfinity.com or visit an Xfinity store to get started. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home and auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
KSL News Time 7:39. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. Brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
And you're going to run a little less than 70 miles an hour now northbound I-15 coming off the Point of the Mountain and into Draper. And again at the south interchange, but there's still no major accidents there. It's just increased volume. That's what's going to cause those minor slowdowns that are happening. Over on the west side, it is very heavy now northbound on Mountain View Corridor. Picks up about 41st south and heads all the way up to 31st south. Bangerter Highway is a little bit bogged down in that same area, but although not quite as bad as Mountain View is. The more cars on the road now coming out of Tooele, and so it's causing a little bit of congestion through the construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele. And Down south in Utah County is what I'm trying to say. Northbound I-15 remains at good speeds all the way up to the point of the mountain. 2100 north is getting fairly heavy. Seeing a little bit buildup happening on Pioneer Crossing, and also Mountain View Corridor around Harvest Hills. Cormac?
Southbound through Davis County, volumes are increasing. On I-15, it's especially slow at the merge with the West Davis corridor, and then again slow through Bountiful from 400 north down into Woods Cross. And then as you get into Salt Lake County, you run into the delays from the north interchange all the way down to 600 north. Eastbound I-80 starting to ease up, though. Still a little bit of delay in the Mountain Dell Reservoir area. And that right lane just a little slow as you approach the US 40 turnoff, but otherwise looking good. Join in to celebrate America's 250th anniversary Utah style. Get involved at america250.utah.gov. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Got a lovely forecast today with a high of 81. Partly cloudy skies and a 20% chance for a shower. Tomorrow, breezy out of the south, 87 the high. Partly cloudy, 20% chance. Into Thursday, 89, mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, we've got clouds and 59 degrees. And coming up in a moment, we are expecting the decision from the Supreme Court this morning on the issue of birthright citizenship. More on that just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Time for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com.
This is apex anthropomorphism. Sorry, there I go again, dropping 6-syllable words. We make believe our pets are humans. Anthropomorphism. We buy vitamin-infused, grain-fed choice beef, dog food for our pooches, and then stuff McDonald's into our own mouths. We even give dogs human names now. Today is National Puppy Day. The top 5 puppy names in Utah: Ruby, Cooper, Lucy, Penny, and Taylor Frankie. I'm kidding about that last one, but they're all human names, so I have to remind you. They lick themselves. They're not human. We used to name them King, Spot, Rex, Shadow, Pluto, Goofy. But now the most popular dog names are people names. Experts say your dog's name should be 2 syllables, and don't pick anything that sounds like sit or stay or down. Faye, stay. Kit, sit. Doesn't work. But there's one anthropomorphic thing we do that's actually good for our dogs. When you talk to them, hold a one-way conversation. My boss says I have to come in early on Tuesday, but I have a doctor appointment. That strengthens your bond with your dog, and it makes them feel secure and loved. One of my pooches, when I talk to him, he makes direct eye contact with me and stares into my very soul, like we were lovers in another life. The other dog won't look at me unless I'm waving a chicken treat, a whole grain, vitamin-infused chicken treat. By the way, that dog's name? Her name was Lola. We gave her a human name. Guilty as charged.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that can make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 801-896-9622. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be 6 figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
KSL News Time, 7:44. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
a potential facelift for the John M. Huntsman Center. The U of U is asking for fan opinions while considering modernizing the sports venue. I'm KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman.
Second, the University of Utah is replacing water-hungry lawns with xeriscaping, while some homeowners say switching to artificial turf has lowered their water bills.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Minor slow spots happening northbound I-15 in the Draper area and again around the south interchange, and southbound I-15 from the north interchange down through Rose Park. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our slow warming trend continues today with a high of 81. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, cloudy and 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Supreme Court is set to finish its term this morning with a couple of major decisions, including one on birthright citizenship. Here's ABC's Karen Hua in Washington.
Trump's order would deny automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S. to parents who are undocumented or only in the U.S. temporarily. Even some of the conservative justices seem skeptical of the Trump administration's case during arguments in the spring. Also today, the justices are set to rule on whether states can ban transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams.
Potentially life-threatening heat is spreading from the Midwest into the Northeast over the next couple of days. Tens of millions of us are under heat advisories. The White House is now confirming to ABC News that the U.S. and Iranian delegations in Qatar are not expected to meet today. President Trump sent his envoys, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, to Doha after announcing Iran had requested a meeting. The Iranians maintain there never was anything scheduled. This is ABC News.
Rescue crews are still searching for survivors in Venezuela nearly a week after the deadly twin earthquakes.
ABC News correspondent James Longman reports.
This morning, rescue crews are racing to find survivors still trapped under the rubble almost 1 week after those devastating twin earthquakes struck Venezuela.
And it's hard to see because there's so much dust in the air from all the rubble, the smoke, and the noise. Take a look at these buildings here. You can see they've basically just sunk into the ground. Yeah, I'm going with it now.
Teams from over 20 countries are working around the clock, dogs and drones, carefully navigating the collapsed buildings to find the missing.
Tell her to tuck her feet back in.
In hard-hit La Guera, where nearly 200 buildings fully collapsed, a U.S. team rescued a 51-year-old woman trapped after a 10-hour effort. And in Carabayeda, the rescue of a 21-year-old man who was buried under the rubble for 106 hours. And overnight, we met the youngest survivor.
Diana. Mucho gusto. James. Oh, my goodness me.
Diana managed to keep her 18-day-old son, Juan David, alive for 30 hours under the rubble. Rescuers managed to get water to Juan David by sliding a straw through a pipe down through the rubble.
Can you tell me, how did you stay alive? How did you keep him alive?
The one who gave me the strength not to fall into despair, she says, was my son. I kept saying, as long as he was alive, I was going to be alive. When the earthquake hit, their 8th-floor apartment fell out from beneath their feet. She had Juan David on her chest as the building fell around her. Dad Hansen rallied their neighbors to dig his family out.
You can see how moved he is because he really believes this was an act of God, but he's, I guess, struggling to understand why his family was saved and why so many thousands of people may have died.
Diana broke her leg and sustained other injuries, but Juan David doesn't have one scratch on him. She says the Bible saved them. But as rescue efforts enter their 6th day, the death toll is rising. Now more than 1,700 have been confirmed dead and more than 5,000 injured. And we're now learning Americans are among those killed. 3 in the earthquake and 12 are still missing.
I can't imagine that, Andy. 8 floors of an apartment building fall around you. You're holding your infant, and the infant doesn't have a scratch. When they're,
I mean, that's miraculous. There's no other way to say that.
I can't.
The odds that happened.
I mean, that child is destined for something.
No, it is. And, you know, there's still more to come because it takes forever to get through all that. It's only confirmed dead that we're at 1,750 right now.
Appreciate James Longman's reports on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
At 7:49, time for a check of traffic brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Let's go back to Jason Jones.
And it's still looking good if you are northbound I-15. You're going to be a little bit slow as you come off the point of the mountain and head into Draper. And then again, you might get bogged down a little bit around the south interchange. But of course, none of these spots are major delays. They're just typical delays that you will find when the volume increases out on the road. It's still fairly heavy if you're northbound on Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South and Bangerter Highway, pretty much in that same spot as well. Starting to see a little bit of busyness happening northbound on the west side belt, right around the 201 interchange there, but not looking too shabby coming out of Tooele or on eastbound 201. We do have reports of a disabled vehicle. This is going to be southbound I-15 around Center Street Street in Provo, but it's not blocking any lanes of traffic, so shouldn't cause you too much trouble. Just keep an eye out as you pass through there. Otherwise, down in Utah County, everything looking pretty fantastic, except it's getting a little heavier now, 2100 north as you head over towards I-15. Cormac?
Southbound I-15 in Farmington is very slow. Either there was some kind of crash or cars cutting lanes, because lanes, especially on the right side of I-15 southbound, are coming to a stop as you approach the merge with the West Davis corridor. Maybe it's construction. We do have some construction in that area. Southbound Legacy Highway also getting heavy as you come from Centerville down toward West Bountiful near Parish Lane, 400 north. Also, southbound I-15 delays continue from the north interchange down into Warm Springs Road, and do expect congestion if you get off at Beck Street in that construction zone. Got an old car? Donate it at carsforkids.org. It's easy, and they'll pick it up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at that 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Good morning, Matt Johnson.
All right, good morning. I got an 81 for today, partly cloudy skies, and we might see a shower in the mountaintops. Tomorrow's going to be 87, a little bit warmer, a little bit breezy out of the south, partly cloudy. Mostly sunny, 89 on Thursday. By Friday, I'm 90. Saturday, how about it? 4th of July. Cooking up a high of 91. Not bad. Mostly sunny skies. Mid and upper 90s resume as we get into Sunday and Monday of next week. But your holiday weekend right now looking dry and warm.
When's our first 100-degree day? Do you know?
Well, we haven't hit it just yet, but we may just hit it next week.
Next week. Okay.
So, and if we do, that would be our latest triple in the last 7 years.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Right now, we have clouds and 57 degrees downtown.
Well, the school year may be over for everybody, but we encourage you to continue to nominate the teachers that make a difference in yours or your kid's life on our teacher tribute wall, which is located at kslnewsradio.com/teacher.
Our thanks to Cypress Credit Union for partnering with us in this wonderful effort. You might even work with a teacher who, needs a pat on the back. Don't we all need a pat on the back sometimes?
Absolutely.
I mean, as the school year is coming up again, maybe a teacher that you work with or that just needs someone to say, doggone it, we see how hard you work. We get it. You work hard. You're constantly doing things to help the kids. You love them so good. And all you have to do is go to kslnewsradio.com/teacher and tell us about that person so that the whole world can see how great they're doing.
Doesn't matter the size of the school. Doesn't matter if it's charter, private, or public. Doesn't matter if it's on the Wasatch Front. Go and nominate them, because every month we're going to randomly select one teacher to get. Guess this is what they're going to get.
Yeah.
They're going to get a $500 Visa gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a pair of season tickets to Hale Center Theater, and a $250 gift card to Harmon's.
And next hour, we'll give those prizes away to a Utah teacher, but we need more teachers to recognize. So please go today to kslnewsradio.com/teacher.
The KSL News Radio Movie Show comes to My Hearing Centers Friday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers uses advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 for more details. My Hearing Centers has offices from Ogden to St. George.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry is the jewelry we never wear. It sits tucked away in a drawer. A ring from a grandmother, a pendant from years gone by, pieces filled with stories, but not part of your everyday life. Duke's Jewelers believes those pieces deserve more. For over 75 years, Duke's Jewelers has helped families reimagine heirloom jewelry, transforming what once was into something you'll love wearing today and pass down tomorrow. Whether it's resetting a stone, redesigning a ring, or creating something entirely new, Duke's Jewelers will guide you through every step, right there in the store. And if you have jewelry that no longer fits your story, Duke's Jewelers also buys gold, offering a simple, transparent way to turn it into something meaningful again. Bring in what you have and create something you'll never want to take off. Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville, where your story continues.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Cryptocurrency is currently in what some investors are calling crypto winter, as a slow-motion crash has eliminated billions of dollars of value from the crypto exchange. In January of this year, Bitcoin was at $96,000 per coin. Today, it dropped below $60,000.
Next week, the New York Stock Exchange will be taking their bell on the road. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, says they'll be opening the markets from the White House to bring in the introduction of the Trump investment accounts given to American children.
Australia's competition regulator has sued Amazon, alleging that Prime customers signed an unfair contract which allowed Amazon to show more ads without compensation. The agency says customers were asked to pay an additional $3 a month to keep their service ad-free, and it made users sign a contract, however, that allowed them to insert additional ads. You pay for an ad-free contract that has language that says we're still going to put ads in.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, let's see where your money is at this hour. In the first half hour of trading, the markets are up. Dow is up 80 points. We're at 52,262. S&P's up 23. The NASDAQ up 149.
Well, the roadways, we've got some slowdowns trying to get to the freeway, and we've got a little bit of delay at the mouth of Parley's Canyon, and some I-80 slowdowns coming past Saltaire. We'll check your commute next.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Pack a picnic, bring your friends, and meet us in Park City. It's time for the 2026 Deer Valley Music Festival, the summer home of the Utah Symphony. Hear joyful masterworks like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in the Wasatch Mountains. Sing your heart out with iconic performers like Idina Menzel and Lyle Lovett. Relax with concerts under the stars and make new family traditions. Every concert is a chance to experience the best of the Utah Symphony in the beauty of Park City. Concerts will sell out. Get your tickets and plan your visit at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads, grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hi, I'm Maria Shilaos, host of the KSL News Daily podcast, where you'll get a deep dive on a story important to you and the 3 things you need to know each weekday morning. Follow the KSL News Daily today, wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time, 7:59. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Jason Jones.
Andy, we have another disabled vehicle. This one's going to be northbound I-15 and 95th South is the spot. It's off to the right shoulder, not blocking traffic, and we're not really seeing any major delays from it, or really any major delays at all northbound side of I-15. Titch slow coming off the point of the mountain, and again from the south interchange up through Murray, but nothing major there. Still fairly heavy over on Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South, and eastbound on 2100 North down in Utah County. That's looking pretty thick at this point as you're trying to head over towards I-15. I-15 itself, though, is still looking really good if you're down in Utah County. Cormac?
Got some very dense traffic on southbound I-15 in Farmington from the Park Lane off-ramp down toward where the West Davis corridor merges. It's got to be a crash. We can't see it on the cameras yet, but it's got to be a crash. and Legacy southbound also getting very heavy where the West Davis corridor emerges. If you take the West Davis corridor, though, you are in the clear because the crash seems to be before that West Davis merges onto I-15. So you can take that as you normally would. Southbound I-15, as you pass that, gets real clear. It's a little slow in the Warm Springs Road area, but not too dense right now because all the traffic's backed up in Farmington. Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Learn more about nuclear energy and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear for more information. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today we'll get up to 81 degrees with a few clouds, 87 tomorrow, 89 on Thursday. We're back into the 90s on Friday, 91 for July 4th. Right now it's 57 downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Andy Farnsworth.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
We're just moments away from the Supreme Court of the United States releasing their final rulings for this term.
Those include President Trump's attempt to ban birthright citizenship and transgender girls in youth sports. We'll break in with those as soon as they're released right here on KSL News Radio.
Utah Fire Watch.
Firefighters are working around the clock to contain fires burning around the state. Several large fires are nearly in containment. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis begins our team coverage, Utah Fire Watch. Brianna?
Andy, the Wild Goose Fire is threatening the town of Scipio, and residents are currently in a ready status to evacuate while containment is at 6%, according to a statement made by fire officials this morning. Two other large wildfires include Babylon and the Snyder Fire. They're over 30,000 acres and at 0% containment. The Sawmill Fire and Iron Fires are both getting closer to containment at 82% and 95%. The Sawmill Fires burned nearly 38,000 acres and the Iron Fire at more than 41,000. However, combined with the nearby Cherry Fire, the Snyder Fire is over 75,000 acres with a slightly lower containment. Live, Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Officials now estimate 150 buildings have been destroyed in the Cottonwood Fire burning in Beaver and Piute counties. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, the good news is crews say they've also been able to protect 130 buildings from the fire, and today some people are actually going to be able to start going up the mountain to check on their properties for the first time since the fire broke out. Though Beaver County Sheriff Cody Black tells KSL they will be checking IDs first.
I made a promise to this community that I would not allow looters to go in and ransack their stuff. That's why we have law enforcement all day, every day on this thing. The fire people are reporting to us, the people that are up there.
In more good news, crews have also been able to start building some semblance of a perimeter for the first time since the fire started last week. The fire is now 4% contained, but it's burned almost 94,000 acres. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The first case from the Supreme Court has come down this morning. This is the one that deals with transgender girls participating in sports. The case is West Virginia versus BPJ, and the court is siding with the states who want to ban transgender girls from sports, saying that Title IX allows schools to provide separate women's and men's sports teams defined by biological sex. And the decision is written by Justice Kavanaugh, joined by Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Barrett. Thomas and Gorsuch with concurring opinions, and as you might expect, it is Kagan and Jackson who are dissenting.
And who had brought the suit originally?
There were several states that passed laws of this kind. West Virginia was one of the states. Idaho enacted a law, and then shortly after Idaho enacted the law, the plaintiffs sued the officials of the state, saying that this was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause. And the district court for Idaho granted a preliminary injunction that said, okay, we're not going to enforce the law for now while we decide. The Ninth Circuit affirmed, and the Supreme Court reverses.
Okay, so the Supreme Court is reversing. This was an appeal that had been
right.
given an injunction.
So the law should be able now to go into effect in those states and may affect laws in other parts of the country as well. We'll continue to follow what's going on in the Supreme Court.
The wildland firefighting community is mourning the deaths of 3 of their members who died while fighting the Snyder Fire on the Utah-Colorado border. Emily Barker from Michigan, Nitch Hutcherson from Arizona, and Sydney Watson from Alabama were all part of the initial attack against the fire. Executive Director of the Wildland Firefighter Foundation, Burke Minor, says everyone feels their loss.
Devastated. The whole wildland community is devastated. You get multi-fatality. It's something else.
2 other firefighters were severely injured, and Minor says they have taken care of their families' hotel car rentals and plane tickets.
Ogden is joining in on the firework ban. The city sent out a release saying all private firework use will not be allowed this year. The release says there are no safe places to light fireworks with fire danger as high as it is. Mayor Ben Nadolski says the decision wasn't easy, but the most important thing is keeping the community safe. Firefighting crews are stretched thin right now, and those resources need to be kept where they are. The restriction will be reviewed before Pioneer Day near the end of July.
People who purchased fireworks before the ban might be hoping to save them for next year. But there are serious hazards to doing that, according to Ogden Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess. If you choose to store them, he says make sure they are in a secure container away from your home and away from any kinds of sparks or chemicals. If you choose to discard them, soak them in water for 24 hours and then throw them away.
First Look Traffic now takes us back over to you, Jason.
And we've had a couple of texters let us know that there is an accident southbound I-15 that was blocking the HOV lane just before you get to Glover Lane there in the Farmington area. Traffic was moving really slow, but looking on the camera now, it looks like it's moving much better through that stretch, so they must have had that cleared over to the side. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Indirect peace talks are taking place in Qatar for the U.S. and Iran. President Trump said the 2 sides would meet in Doha today, but a spokesman for Qatar's foreign ministry said Jared Kushner and White House envoy Steve Witkoff are meeting with mediators and not engaging directly with Iranian officials. ABC News contributor and former Defense Department official Mick Mulroy says it's an indication that Iran believes it still has leverage by controlling the Strait of Hormuz.
They simply don't have the equipment nor the know-how. They could contribute because they're the ones that actually put the mines in the strait in the first place, so they could help with those that have the expertise in finding them. But it's clear they don't want to have any other involvement in the strait. They view this as their biggest benefit for this entire war. They could control a key waterway, 21% of the world's energy supply in perpetuity now.
As recently as this weekend, there were strikes in the region. Iran was targeting U.S. assets while the U.S. was targeting Iranian assets.
Just repeating our breaking news from a moment ago, the Supreme Court has decided that states can ban transgender females from participating in youth sports. That doing so, according to the court, is not a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, that states can make those determinations based on what they call biological sex. We'll continue to follow the court for any new opinions this morning on KSL.
Got slowdowns on I-15 and Legacy in Farmington, plus some I-80 slowdowns coming out of Tooele to Salt Lake. We'll check your commute next.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Doug Wright, and I'm here with Monty from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized Connecticut independent dealer. Now, Monty, don't all of the other water softeners require us to basically trust our home's water to electronics? If a power surge happens, a fried circuit board, or the power just goes out suddenly, aren't you back to scrubbing hard water scale and dry skin?
Yes, we believe the best technology is simple. That's why Connecticut's premium systems are non-electric. While other softeners rely on finicky computers and electronics, Connecticut runs on the kinetic energy of moving water. Nothing to plug in, no buttons to push, and zero electricity.
I've had a Connecticut soft water system in my home for many years, and I've never had to do anything to it except occasionally add a little salt. And I love that it never requires me to set or program anything. Dee loves that she always has the soft water. So do what I did and go to softwaterutah.com. to learn how your family can enjoy the benefits of soft water without the hassles of traditional water softeners. That's softwaterutah.com.
KSL News Time, 8:09. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
And we are still seeing some slowing northbound I-15 as you approach the south interchange there, but nothing, it's been pretty good. Nothing really major has developed there. It's kind of ebbs and flows, and 70-plus miles an hour, maybe just a little bit less for most of the rest of the stretch of I-15 through the Salt Lake Valley into downtown Salt Lake City. So it just shouldn't take you very much extra time at all to get to work this morning. It's looking better even over on the Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South. So some excellent speeds and some excellent road conditions happening through the Salt Lake Valley this morning. Down in Utah County, no problems on I-15 up to the Pointed Mountain either. The only real heavy spot is 2100 North, and that's just typical as you try to head over towards I-15. Cormac?
The heavy traffic on southbound I-15 has eased up quite a bit and very quickly. Texter's telling us it was a crash in the HOV lane just before the West Davis corridor merge on South 15, but they must have cleared that off because lanes are beginning to move. If you are thinking to transition to Legacy Highway in Farmington near Park Lane, don't do it. Stay on I-15. Legacy is actually heavier right now as drivers did avoid the backup on I-15. So both those roadways still a little slow southbound through Farmington. If you take the West Davis corridor, you are a happy camper. No delays as you merge onto I-15. And all the way into Salt Lake, those delays have also eased out since the backups were in Farmington earlier. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures will ride a solid 9 degrees below the normal today. Partly cloudy skies, high of 81, and a mountain shower possible. Tomorrow, 87, a little bit warmer and breezy out of the south. Partly cloudy skies, 20% chance for a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 57 degrees. So far this morning, the Supreme Court has upheld a state's right to ban transgender athletes from playing on girls' sports teams. We're waiting for the decision on birthright citizenship, and we'll talk to Greg Skordas coming up on KSL News Radio.
Streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. You can also listen on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Would you like to list your home, to sell your home and move somewhere else? Maybe you were like my husband and I a year ago. We decided we wanted to downsize. Our kids were growing up. What do we need the 6-bedroom house for? That was costing us a fortune to air condition and heat this house, and only 3 of us left. So we thought we want to move, but we didn't know if the market was right, and we didn't know. We just didn't know. So we contacted the Stern team.
Yeah, the Stern team has the expertise of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Instead of just one person's expertise, wouldn't you love to have several or many really experienced? That's what the Stern team powered by Almada Real Estate has. They've got expertise in all the areas, whether it's marketing your home, whether it's getting it ready to list, whether it's negotiating. They've got everybody.
The woman that we worked with, Stephanie, she was extraordinary. She had been like a negotiator for the Defense Department or something in an earlier life. And she helped us not take the first offer that came because I was so nervous. I thought, we have an offer. We should take it. She said, hold on. They're lowballing you. You don't have to take that offer. And sure enough, we had 2 more offers, and the third offer was the charm.
I never thought about something like a real estate goal. That was a term I hadn't heard till I talked with the Stern team. But, even if you're happy with your house, you might have kids that are getting ready to start to buy.
Yeah.
And what you need is goals to understand, and then they can work with you all along the way.
The Stern team, powered by Omada Real Estate. You can download the Omada Real Estate app, type in your address, and just get a ballpark figure for what your house might sell for.
Yeah, Omada Real Estate app, or go to sternteam.com.
Hey, Holiday, New York just got a whole lot closer. Magnolia Bakery, New York's famous bakery since 1996, is now open in Holiday Hills. Craving something iconic? Step into a true neighborhood bakery experience using simple, high-quality ingredients to create baked fresh daily American classics, including the world-famous banana pudding, cupcakes, cakes, cheesecakes, and more. Magnolia Bakery is known around the world. It's the taste of New York, served fresh and locally owned and operated right here in Utah, bringing that legendary charm home to Holiday Hills. It's more than just a delicious dessert stop. It's worth a visit. You've seen Magnolia Bakery on Saturday Night Live and more. Now it's your turn to see what the buzz is all about. Find the authentic Big Apple sweetness at 1895 East Rodeo Walk Drive in Holiday, where the Cottonwood Mall used to be. Open every day, including Sunday. Magnolia Bakery in Holiday Hills, where every day deserves dessert. A New York City bite without the flight.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
KSL News Time, 8:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
the University of Utah is replacing water-hungry lawns with xeriscaping, while some homeowners say switching to artificial turf has lowered their water bills. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, people who purchased fireworks before the ban may be hoping to save them for next year, but there are serious hazards to doing that, according to Ogden Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Hess.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Crash has cleared, and so have most of the delays southbound I-15 approaching Glover Lane in the Farmington area. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy skies today with a slight chance for a high mountain shower. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
KSL's top national stories. The Supreme Court rules that schools can ban transgender girls from competing in sports.
CNN's legal expert Ellie Honig has more.
Well, the first thing is important to understand. This is not a nationwide ban on transgender athletes participating in girls and women's sports. This ruling simply says that if states choose to pass their own state laws that ban transgender athletes, they can do that. About half the states in the nation have done that. Those laws will survive. The other thing is, the law basically says the law at issue here is Title IX, as Laura was saying. Title IX allows discrimination on the basis of sex when it comes to sports. You are allowed to have leagues that are just for girls or just for boys or women or men. And the crux of this decision is that it is permissible, constitutionally permissible, to make those distinctions based on biological sex at birth and not on a person's gender identity later on in life. So that's the crux of this decision, a major decision, but it will leave it up to states on a state-by-state basis.
We'll talk more about this with Greg Skordas in just a second. Time for Utah Celebrates America 250 Trivia, brought to you by America First Credit Union. It's your chance to win an America 250 birthday gift, which this week is a Uinta Basin adventure.
To enter, go to ksl.com/win, where you can also input a bonus keyword answer for additional chances to win. Today's question is, which founding father's face appears on the $10 bill? When you know the answer, make sure you enter that answer online at ksl.com/win. Good luck.
We're continuing to follow breaking news this morning as the Supreme Court of the United States issues its final rulings of the term.
KSL legal analyst and co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, joins us now live in studio with more. So the big one so far has been the upholding of the ban in Idaho on preventing transgender girls from competing in girls sports. I've got a whole mouthful.
You're doing right.
Am I getting it right?
That's it.
Yeah, there are actually two states, but they combined two cases between two different states. One of them was based on 14th Amendment equal protection grounds. The other one was based on Title IX, which also provides that schools that receive federal funding cannot discriminate based on sex. The Supreme Court came down with a ruling that held that the schools may, if they choose to, limit athletes to participate in girls' sports based on their biological gender. In other words, their gender at birth. Mm-hmm. So those two states have done that. I think it was Idaho and Virginia. But again, it's not a requirement that states do that. But in this case, they did say that states who choose to do that are justified and legal to do that.
It's interesting. I'm just reading that the medical premise of the Equal Protection Challenge was that at least some biological males who identify as female and take hormones or whatever do not retain physical advantages. And the court says, we don't need to get there.
Yeah. So three. It's weird because all 9 justices agreed that Title IX does not prevent this, but 3 of the justices dissented and said the 14th Amendment does. So one of the cases was based solely on Title IX. The other was based on the 14th Amendment. They combined the two in one opinion. So you don't know whether it's a 9-0 decision or a 6-3 decision.
But either way.
Because either way, the majority found that schools may may ban trans athletes from participating in girls' sports.
Does that open the door to a potential federal ban?
Well, no. I mean,
I know it says that the states have that right, but I mean, could then the federal government, when one house has a majority, could they then try to pass something?
Well, the feds could change Title IX to read that way. They could may closely articulate Title IX, because what one of the justices says was, look, Title IX does not specifically preclude this. There's nothing in Title IX that precludes what happened here. So I think it was Kavanaugh that said that. So if Congress wants to sit down and say, we're going to rewrite Title IX to specifically preclude this, or do exactly what the Supreme Court has done, and say, we're going to carve out an exception to what Title IX says so that schools may choose to ban trans athletes from participating in girls' sports, then that would be a federal ban. That would be a federal allowance of this.
Does this affect Utah immediately? Do you know, Greg?
I think Utah already... I'm not sure. I thought Utah already had a ban on trans athletes.
A trigger law or something,
yeah.
didn't we?
So if it doesn't affect Utah, the legislature will surely pass a law that does this. Now that it's been okayed that states may choose to do this, I don't see any way that Utah would not do this based on the fact that the Supreme Court has now given them the green light to prevent trans athletes from participating.
We'll probably pull you back in here once we get another opinion, Greg. So stand by, but appreciate that. That's the first case we have this morning, is the one upholding the ban on transgender girls participating in sports, and we'll continue to stay on top of these decisions as they come down.
Time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Jason Jones.
And most of the delays we've had northbound I-15 have cleared out. They were never very major to begin with, and and they've all mostly gone at this point. If you're northbound I-15, you just may be a tidge slow right at about 106th south in the Sandy area, but that's really all we've got going on. It's looking better now. Mountain View Corridor, that most of those delays have cleared out. Likewise on Bangerter Highway. No problems down in Utah County on I-15. It's a bit crowded, of course, 2100 north, headed over towards I-15 and Mountain View Corridor at Harvest Hills. Cormac?
Got some residual delays southbound Legacy Highway and I-15 from Farmington into Centerville after a crash backed up traffic that was on I-15. Looks like they've completely cleared off the road. Southbound I-15 also slow near Warm Springs Road now. Eastbound I-80, it's still just that right lane giving drivers trouble as you approach the US 40 turnoff. In Weber County, though, no delays on I-15, just the regular slowdowns on Highway 89 between Harrison Boulevard and down to the mouth of Weber Canyon. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 81 today. Pretty pleasant. Partly cloudy skies, 20% chance for showers. You get into the southeast corner of the state, fire danger elevated. 87 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, 20% chance, and a little breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, the start of the 4th of July weekend, mostly sunny and a high of 90. 91 on the 4th of July, mostly sunny. We've got sunshine into Sunday and Monday with highs in the mid and upper 90s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
59 degrees right now. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
This hour of Utah's Morning News is sponsored by Cypress Credit Union, and we're joined now by Amanda Morton from Cypress Credit Union. Amanda, now we're in summer. One of the goals for my 17-year-old, we have two goals. He's got to get his driver's license, and he's got to get himself a job. Now, why is it so important that young people learn how to manage that money while they're earning those first paychecks?
Well, first of all, I love that there's two goals in place already. That is so fantastic. Research consistently shows that money habits begin forming, in early childhood and adolescence, so often becoming very established by late teen years. So along those lines, things like a summer job, it's really frequently when a person gets the very first opportunity to actually connect the money they earn to what spending or saving habits could look like for them. And so teens who learn to manage their money early on are far more likely to have success as adults when it comes to budgeting, regular saving, and then avoiding some of the financial mistakes that can happen later in life. I think we all know as adults what those could look like. And so if we focus right now this summer on encouraging teens, proper ways or the best ways to divide paychecks or have different funds allocated towards different things instead of the teen just focusing on what can I buy this week with my paycheck, it's going to go a long way to making sure that, our outcomes for our teens are much better when it comes to their financial futures.
I bet a lot of parents are like you, Andy, that they're trying to help their kids find their first job. But I wonder, Amanda, what are some other ways that parents can help their kids develop really healthy financial habits while they're working?
Yes. So, like I mentioned, a lot of young adults, once they exit their teen years, they start facing these decisions about credit cards, auto loans, student loans, housing costs, and it seems to all hit them all at once. So this summer's the perfect time to really, just like Andy's doing, sit down with your team and have a discussion around budgeting, what these taxes are that are coming out of their paycheck, what direct deposit is, and setting up just a couple of goals for their money that summer. And one of the reasons that Cypress actually created the Teen Learn and Earn account was so that not only so that teens can earn extra money from Cypress in order to gain financial education, but really it was a tool created so that parents have something to help support what it is that they're trying to teach their teen. Because we all know firsthand that the parent might be the last person the teen wants to listen to when it comes to this kind of advice. So having that extra tool is really helpful.
All right. I love this Teen Learn and Earn account. And Amanda, they can get more information at going to cypresscu.com/
just cypresscu.com, and that'll actually take them right. Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, Amanda, we'll talk with you again in a bit.
Thank you.
Got an expensive AC replacement or repair quote? Get a free second opinion with Vyrock Heating and Cooling. Call or text 801-306-8360 or visit VyrockAir.com. VAIRockair.com. As America celebrates 250 years of innovation and hard work, Alsco Uniforms is proud to be part of Utah's story, serving local businesses since 1895. For more than 135 years, they've helped companies focus on what they do best, while Alsco Uniforms handles the laundry. From uniforms to linens to mats, towels, and safety supplies, they keep businesses clean, professional, and running strong. Rooted in Utah, built on service, ready for the next generation. Alsco Uniforms, proud to support America 250 and the businesses that keep it moving. Visit alsco.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com.
We've got breaking news on KSL. This is another decision from the U.S. Supreme Court on campaign finance. Speaking of money, Greg, what does this one say?
This one's interesting, Amanda, because they published the opinion and then they sent the opinion from the Mississippi case yesterday and said, here's the new opinion. So I'm reading it. I'm going, this was already decided. So I'm looking at the new opinion now. I can tell you what it says, and that is that they were challenging whether or not there should be limits on what organizations can contribute to individuals in campaign, and the Supreme Court has said that a limit on that violates the First Amendment. So they've in fact sort of opened the floodgates. Now the 3 liberal justices have dissented. I haven't seen why, but the Republican National Committee filed a lawsuit and against the Federal Election Commission, saying you can't limit what organizations contribute to certain people who are running for political office, and it appears that the Republican National Committee has won, and so those limits will not be upheld.
So it's sort of like Citizens United, that it's allowing,
right.
It's saying that political spending is speech,
right,
and restrictions on that. All right, let's read some more, and we'll come back and discuss it, Greg. But that's the second opinion this morning. Still waiting on birthright citizenship.
Exactly.
All right, we still got a lot of traffic, a couple of spots to update you on when we check traffic and weather together coming up next. Amanda, I told you we had the big flood at our house, and we're still trying to get our kitchen all fixed up and returned to normal. But the easiest part of this whole process, believe it or not, was getting the leak fixed, finding it and getting it fixed. And that's what Superior Water and Air did so well. They were there within 20 minutes. I'm like, water's dripping out of my ceiling.
Yeah.
They were there. David was there. He found the leak. I was involved in the whole process. He took it. By the end, I was just sitting down in a chair like, oh my gosh, what is this going to mean? And David's like, no, we got this. It's fixed. Here you go. And the bill is only one fraction of what it is going to end up. But it was such an easy process, and David did such a great job. But this is now 3 times in the last year that Superior Water and Air has had to come save my bacon.
This is my experience with Superior Water and Air for, close to 30 years now. Every time I've had an issue, I call them, and their response is the same. We got this.
Yes.
Don't worry, Amanda. We got this. We'll be right there. When we had flooding, same thing. When the air conditioner isn't working, it's 100 degrees. They're right. I mean, they are. And they taught me how to do preventative things along the way so that hopefully these expensive pieces of equipment will last longer.
And they remember. David said, oh, hey, look, you replaced your faucet. He remembered the last time he was there, which was last year.
They're really wonderful to work with.
So give them a call, 801-974-9090, or set up an appointment at superiorwaterandair.com. Join KSL and the Movie Show crew this Friday from 10 to 1 at My Hearing Centers. Learn how to get a no-cost hearing evaluation. And now at 8:29, time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. And here's Jason Jones.
Same busyness in the same spots. Northbound I-15, just a titch of slowing right around the south interchange. And that's it. Everything else is clear into downtown Salt Lake City. Titch of slowing northbound Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South. But that's also it on Mountain View Corridor. In fact, that's it for the entire west side there. We're moving smoothly through the construction zone at Lake Point and Tooele. We're moving smoothly on I-15 in Utah County. Provo Canyon is also looking fantastic. Only heavy spot that we've got, 2100 North in Lehigh. Cormac?
Still slow on southbound I-15 from Farmington into Centerville near the West Davis corridor merge. Southbound Legacy Highway, though, really easing up. Just a little bit of delay in the West Davis corridor. Drivers joined there as well. Southbound I-15 delays continue from the north interchange down toward Warm Springs Road, but start to ease up as you get closer to Salt Lake. And eastbound I-80, the delays in that right lane approaching US 40 have been a little bit lighter all morning. As of right now, it's still just a little slow as you try and transition from eastbound I-80 coming out of Parley's Canyon. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll get up to 81 today. Right now, 59 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News
with Andy Farnsworth and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time, 8:30. KSL's top story this hour.
From the Supreme Court this morning, we learned that the court has upheld bans on transgender girls participating in sports, and the court ruled on campaign finance. Greg Skordas is here. Will you just update us on the campaign finance decision?
Yes. Yeah, so it's limited a little bit to campaign finance that is done by a political party. So the Federal Election Campaign Act restricted a political party spending on activities with candidates. The Supreme Court said political parties' limits violate the First Amendment. So I indicated that it was a violation of the First Amendment for organizations to contribute to campaigns. This is limited to contributions by a political party. In this case, it was the Republican Senatorial Committee. So,
will this affect the midterms?
No, not at all. It shouldn't affect anything at all because whatever. Well, that's a good question. I guess if political parties now want to start putting some big money into races, yeah, great point. They absolutely can. There's no limits on that anymore by the Federal Election Commission.
Where was the original ban from? Was it something that was passed or that something that's always been in effect?
Something that's always been in effect by the Federal Election Commission. So there's always been bans. There's always been campaign contribution limits on federal elections. We in the Utah have pretty much open checkbooks of what we can give our candidates statewide, but the feds have limits on what you can contribute.
We're still waiting for birthright citizenship. As soon as that comes down, we'll talk more about it. Greg, please stand by.
One person has died and 2 others have been seriously hurt in an apparent construction accident in Rich County. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
We're learning this happened late yesterday morning in the Monte Cristo area. The Rich County Sheriff's Office is telling us a group of construction workers were installing roof trusses when it appears a gust of wind caused multiple trusses to collapse, knocking 2 men off of the roof and pinning another underneath a truss. The Sheriff's Office says a 56-year-old man was killed and 2 others were taken to the hospital, one of which had to be life-flighted. They also say a 4th worker was injured and treated. At this point, investigators have not said anything indicating foul play. They are calling this a tragic accident. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Fox News Media has issued their own public on-air apologies to Utah organizations who they accused of having ties to China. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Alliance for a Better Utah and Elevate strategies were both targeted by Box Elder County data center investor Kevin O'Leary. He accused them of being funded by China and recently posted a public apology. Following that, 2 Fox News hosts, including Maria Bartiromo, read statements on air.
Fox News Media is likely likewise aware of no evidence that they are funded by or acting at the direction of or in coordination with Chinese interests in opposing Kevin O'Leary's project. Fox News Media apologizes for the error.
The organizations had been strongly opposed to the data center project. Several people were even individually named by O'Leary and Fox, and one of them wasn't even with either organization at the time. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
The death toll in Venezuela is over 1,700 as rescue crews continue to dig through rubble.
More than 5,000 people are also injured after the powerful earthquakes last week. ABC News Chief International Correspondent James Longman is in Venezuela with more.
Teams from over 20 countries are working around the clock, dogs and drones, carefully navigating the collapsed buildings to find the missing.
Tell her to tuck her feet back in.
In hard-hit La Guera, where nearly 200 buildings fully collapsed, a U.S. team rescued a 51-year-old woman trapped after a 10-hour effort. And in Caraballeda, the rescue of a 21-year-old man who was buried under the rubble for 106 hours. We met the youngest survivor. Diana managed to keep her 18-day-old son Juan David alive for 30 hours under the rubble.
Rescue crews are also worried about unstable buildings coming down during rescue operations.
Here is the big decision we've been waiting for this morning on birthright citizenship, where the court holds that children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and therefore are citizens at birth. Greg Skordas.
So the 14th Amendment stands the way it is. This was the result of an executive order by Trump early on in his latest term, where he said that 14th Amendment birthright citizenship has been taken too far, and he had issued an executive order to stay that. The court said, no, we're not going to allow that. So the executive order by the president to try to stop the birthright citizenship provision of the 14th Amendment has been stricken, and the 14th Amendment stands as it always has, allowing for birthright citizenship.
There are a lot of opinions. So Justice Robert, the Chief Justice, delivers the opinion of the court, joined by Sotomayor, Kagan, Barrett, and Jackson. Well, there are several opinions. Then there are concurring opinions that are joined in part, and then there are dissenting opinions that are joined in part. So I think for the main holding, is it 6-3, Greg?
Yeah, that's what I would call it,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, well, that was what I was curious, how it voted. But
let's get a look at, let's read this a little bit and we'll come back to you, Greg, for some more analysis. But what it looks like is that birthright citizenship has been upheld under the 14th Amendment. That executive order making a distinction between people who are here lawfully or temporarily has been nullified. So the 14th Amendment protects birthright citizenship. Should we check in with traffic, Andy, and see what's going on?
Well, I mean, I can just tell you right now that the slowdowns are just in a couple of spots in the Salt Lake Valley, and we'll get a full update, though, in just a few minutes.
KSL News Time now is 8:36. The decision is Trump versus Barbara. It's a question presented whether the Constitution guarantees citizenship to children born in the United States, and the answer, Greg Skordas, seems to be yes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's yes. There was a dissenting opinion by Justice Thomas, Gorsuch, and Alito. Of course, they're the most conservative justices on the court. They dissented in this, which is I don't know. I didn't think this one there would be a dissent because I mean we've had the 14th Amendment for so many years. I haven't read their dissent yet. I'm just getting to it, but I'm trying to see what their concern was. But they did. There were a number of concurring opinions. In other words, the main body will vote, hey, this shouldn't have happened. We're going to strike the executive order, and then the various justices will say we agree, but we may agree for different reasons. So the majority, 6 of them, came together and said the executive order violated the Constitution and that birthright citizenship should remain in place, but the justices disagreed on why that occurs. So there are a number of concurring opinions. I'll get to the dissent.
I mean, I'm just looking at Justice Thomas's dissent, and it talks about being subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, and he's focusing on that argument that the United States made.
Yeah.
We've actually got somebody, we've got an immigration attorney now ready to join us live with reaction to this. And who are we speaking with?
This is Adam Craig.
Adam Craig. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Adam. Okay, so we just barely got the news on this. We'd love to get your reaction right away upon hearing this.
Oh, elated, overjoyed. I have so many people that were so nervous about this.
I had heard that there were many people who were worried that their children would become stateless because they wouldn't have the citizenship of the United States or any other country.
And that's exactly right. They would have had to gone back through a process to try and figure out what citizenship they might have, because obviously they're born here. There's no reciprocal citizenship in any countries almost, and so they would have to gone through processes to try and figure out exactly to which country do they belong.
Adam, it's Greg Skordas. Thanks for joining us this morning. I was interested because there was a dissenting opinion. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it yet, but the 3 justices you might expect, who are the most conservative, did write a dissenting opinion. However, the overall decision of the court was 6-3, although a lot of the justices wrote their concurring opinion, so they they agreed 6-3, but not necessarily for the same reason.
That's exactly right, and it was Gorsuch. And Gorsuch, he really surprised me because the level of questioning that he was doing in the oral arguments seemed to be very, very, very leery about what the government's position was. So I had presumed that Alito and Thomas were going to dissent, but I really, based on what Justice Gorsuch was asking, I didn't see him because it didn't seem like he was buying off on what the government's theory regarding domicile was. And that was all related back to an 1898 case called Wong Kim Ark, where we do really have the substantiation and the seminal case of birthright citizenship. So I have to be honest, that one surprised me because his questioning did not appear to be going in that direction.
Is it fair to say then, Adam, that people should feel confident now that if a child is born in this country, whether the child is born to parents who are here legally or not, temporarily or not, that child has United States citizenship?
Oh, absolutely. That 6-3, that is a very substantial decision. That's going to say, hey, you're born here, you are a citizen of this country. And I think one of the most important things was the government really pressed against the Solicitor General because he tried to say that this was, we offer this tourism birth. And then when they questioned him about how many tourism births they were actually showing, he really couldn't even answer. So their main argument was, we have all these people that are trying to be tourists and come and give birth here, and they don't have documentary evidence of what that number even is. And so really their position was kind of just unsubstantiated. So yes, everybody born here, thank goodness, will remain a citizen of this country.
Adam, we so appreciate your time. Adam Craig, an attorney with us who is an expert in this area, and we've been talking about the decision from the Supreme Court that upholds birthright citizenship as spelled out in the 14th Amendment.
Time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Jason Jones.
Still seeing the same slowdowns that we had on I-15 northbound side. They don't even really pick up until about the I-80 interchange, and it's going to last on and off from there to about 13 South. That's really the only problem spot we've got at all if you're northbound I-15. So that's why I say you're still seeing the slowdown there because that's the only place it's been slow. Pretty much for the last hour, everything's been otherwise fantastic on I-15. Looking great over on the west side now. Mountain View Corridor, Bangerter Highway, down in Utah County, no problems on I-15. It's just 2100 north. That's the real heavy spot. Cormac?
Southbound I-15, still just a little bit of delays in Farmington near the West Davis Corridor merge. Those are residual as that crash cleared off the road, and it's just barely slow there. And then it slows down pretty heavily once you get down toward North Salt Lake in the north interchange and past Warm Springs Road. Eastbound I-80, that right lane getting a little heavier. Perhaps I spoke too soon. A little more dense now as you approach US 40 turnoff, although they haven't stretched back to Kimball Junction again just yet. Looking for a new ride? Doug Smith offers great savings on new and used vehicles. Big selection, great prices, and great people. Visit us in American Fork, Spanish Fork, Linden, or at heydoug.net. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for a high of 81 today with partly cloudy skies and just a 20% chance for a shower. Overnight, 56, mostly clear to partly cloudy. Tomorrow, breezy, 87, partly cloudy, and a 20% chance to see a little shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
63 degrees downtown.
And
coming up in just a moment, we'll talk to Greg Skordas again about these big three decisions from the Supreme Court, including the upholding of birthright citizenship. We'll do that in just a couple of minutes.
We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. This hour of Utah's Morning News is sponsored by Cypress Credit Union, and we are pleased to bring on our Teacher Tribute honoree for the month of June, Kent Burton from Granger High School. Mr. Burton, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be with you today.
We received a wonderful letter about you, Mr. Burton, that says Kent Burton teaches U.S. history at Granger High School. And if you were to walk the halls, you'd be able to identify him immediately. He would be the one dressed in a costume or period clothing of whatever time in history he was teaching during a particular week. He is committed to his role in history, and he doesn't change into a person of a time period when he arrives at school. He walks into school in full costume. That's awesome.
And Mr. Burton, we see that you've got a flag shirt on in your yearbook picture as well, always representing. What a big week this is for you.
Yes, it's a wonderful, what a birthday for our nation.
I imagine that teaching history is even more impactful in a year like this, but how long have you been a teacher?
I've been 33 years. I've been teaching. 20 years I did in junior high, and now 13 years in high school there at Granger.
Well, your dedication obviously comes through. And, for something where kids of today, I know I'm going to act like the old guy here, the kids of today, do they just even appreciate the greatness of history? But when a teacher loves it, it radiates out to the students. And that's obviously the case, or they wouldn't have such great things to say about you.
Well, I love America's story, and I have a lot of passion for it, and I want to do whatever I can to engage the kids and get them to think about the freedoms and the blessings that we have here and in America. And so I want that passion to run over to the kids.
Well, Kent Burton from Granger High School, we've got some prizes to give you, Andy. Tell him what he's won.
Mr. Burton, you are going to receive a $500 Visa gift card from Cyprus Credit Union, a pair of season tickets to Hale Center Theater, and a $250 gift card to Harmon's. Congratulations, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Ken Burton with us, and you can nominate a teacher at kslnewsradio.com/teacher.
Murphy's Law says that if your air conditioner is going to break down this summer, it's going to be when you least expect it and at the worst possible time. And for a lot of homeowners, the fear isn't just the breakdown. It's worrying about what happens next. Is this going to cost a fortune? Am I going to be pressured into replacing it? Can somebody just help me figure out what's wrong? At Any Hour Services, that's exactly what we're here for. Maybe your system just needs maintenance to help prevent breakdowns before they happen. Maybe a part failed and a simple repair gets you back up and running quickly. Or maybe your system's getting older, repairs are adding up, and you think replacing it makes more sense. Whatever the situation, we'll walk you through your options, answer your questions, and make sure you have the information you need to make the decision that's right for your home and your budget. Maintenance, repair, or replacement, you choose what's right for you. That's how Any Hour Services works. Options, not pressure. Call Any Hour Services next time you need help with your air conditioner. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Breaking news on KSL News Radio. 3 big decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court this morning. Our legal expert, Greg Skordas, is here. Where do we start, Greg?
Well, let's start with the 14th Amendment because it stands the way that it has been written. I just want to read one quote from our Chief Justice Roberts. He says this: citizenship, and he's talking about the framers of the Constitution, or at least the framers of the 14th Amendment. He says this: citizenship then and now was the right to have rights to freely participate in our political community. The framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every freeborn person in this land. We keep that promise today. So he
That's
has
powerful.
said that when they enacted the 14th Amendment, and of course that was to prevent slaves from being deported. If you were born in the United States, you became citizens, and people were concerned about that. And so the theory was, well, that was limited to that specific purpose, and it's been taken to a different level because now basically you're here and you happen to be born in the United States, suddenly you're a citizen. Is that really what it was meant to say? Well, that's what the language of the 14th Amendment says. If you're born here and you're naturalized here, you're a citizen. So that's now the law, and any attempts by the Trump administration to put the kibosh to that has been stricken.
Greg, one of our texters said, since when can the Supreme Court change an amendment to the Constitution anyway?
Well,
so
they're not
had they
changing
ruled
the
it, we're right,
amendment.
but had they ruled the other way, would that be in effect
They're
changing
not changing,
it?
they're interpreting is what they would say,
Right, that's exactly right. I think what they would have said was, well, the Constitution didn't really mean that. What it probably meant was, for the specific instance of, like I just said, what was happening back in the 1800s, but you're right. The Supreme Court can't just go and say the 14th Amendment doesn't exist anymore. They can say it exists, but it really means that. And by the way, the 14th Amendment has a lot of language. The birthright citizenship is just one paragraph. It's the first part of it, but it goes on further with equal protection and whatnot. But anyway, the Supreme Court can redefine it, but they can't alter it, or they can't restrict it or take it out.
Another big case today upholds the state's choice to ban transgender female athletes from participating in youth sports.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, Amanda, because next year there's going to be a case that might say, will states be required to ban transgender athletes under Title IX? Right now, under Title IX, the Supreme Court has said states may ban trans athletes. That's a state-by-state decision. But I think that a lot of states are going to take it to the next level, and we may have a decision next year at the Supreme Court that says that Title IX requires you to ban trans athletes from participating in girls' sports. So, they talk about the purpose of the law was to make schools the interest in safety and competitive fairness. That's what they decided the interest was. And that sex-based classifications do that. So you can say, well, if your goal is to have safety and competitive fairness, then that ban meets that goal, the ban of trans athletes.
One of our listeners, well, there was two. One said bar or ban, and is there a difference?
No, there's no difference.
The other one said, does the ruling of the Supreme Court on gender recognition stay with the states? And if the people of the state don't like it, can they still sue the state?
That's a good question. It stays with the states. They can sue the state all they want, but the United States Supreme Court's the highest court of the land, so they're not going to get anywhere. The state has said, this is what we want to do. What the citizens of the state can do is get new representatives, get a new group of people in there and change the law, but suing the state isn't going to help them because the state has enacted the law.
We appreciate you so much, Greg. We'll be tuned into Inside Sources this morning, beginning at 9 o'clock for more evaluation of these decisions coming down this morning from the U.S. Supreme Court.
Time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Jason Jones.
Andy, it's a bit slow still northbound I-15 from the I-80 interchange up to about 13th South, and that's the only problem going into downtown Salt Lake City. And that's just running a little less than 70 miles an hour. It's not a major slowdown at this point. All of the delays that we had over on the west side have cleared out, except for being a little bunched up northbound Bangerter Highway 4100 South. No problems in Utah County as you're going to roll smoothly up to the point of the mountain. But 2100 North has gotten even heavier now, and it's going to be a thick problem for you as you head over towards I-15. Cormac?
Southbound I-15 still slow from about 2600 south in Woods Cross down toward Warm Springs Road. And eastbound I-80, that right lane still pretty heavy as you approach the US 40 turnoff, but it's actually northbound US 40 approaching I-80 that's heavier right now. That's due to traffic. Looks like they're down to one lane, so it's pretty heavy northbound US 40 through Snyderville. Got an old car? Donate it at carsforkids.org. It's easy, and they'll pick it up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 81 today, partly cloudy skies, and a slight chance for a pop-up in the afternoon. I think a lot of the activity stays in the mountains. Similar performance by clouds on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 20% chance, 87 breezy. 89, mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Friday, 90. Up to 91, mostly sunny on your 4th of July. Then we'll go to mid and upper 90s Sunday and Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
We're seeing some showers around. Right now it's 63 degrees downtown. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Amanda, you and I have been talking about SOTA, diet and nutrition, state of the art, for
years.
Several years now.
Yeah.
They've never had an offer like they have right now. Basically what they're saying is, we're willing to put up or shut up.
Yeah.
And they say if you sign up right now for SOTA Diet Nutrition, you can have 4 weeks for free.
Think about how much weight you could drop in 4 weeks, and you get that 4 weeks for free. So I lost about 2 to 3 pounds a week. I lost a total of 37 pounds in about 3 months, and I've kept it off now for years. I feel, so much better. My energy, my sleep, everything just feels easier. I can't control a lot in the world, but I can control my weight now because I learned from SOTA Diet and Nutrition.
And that's the same for me. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I gained a little bit of it back. And so I went back on the program myself a month and a half ago. I'm already down 30 pounds, and you can see the difference.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how quick it can happen. And right now, SOTA's offering 4 weeks for free.
And you get to talk to a nutritionist who will really guide you specifically through the program. So whatever you come to this process with some issues, some health issues, or some, whatever it is, they will do a program just for you.
So go to SOTAdietandnutrition.com. Go to the website and then call 866-800-SOTA and talk with the nutritionist, and you'll get 4 weeks free if you mention KSL. That's 800-866-800-SOTA or SOTAdietandnutrition.com, because Amanda, SOTA is, say it with me,
state of the art.
Get ready for bigger action, faster rides, and edge-of-your-seat thrills. The Ute Stampede Rodeo and Extreme Bulls returning to Utah, July 8th through 11th. See elite athletes compete in PRCA rodeo showmanship with some of sport's biggest payouts. Buckle up for Extreme Bulls, delivering Utah's ultimate showdown. New dates, bigger crowds, limited tickets. Don't miss it. Secure yours now at UtestampedeRodeo.com. That's UtestampedeRodeo.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry is the jewelry we never wear. It sits tucked away in a drawer. A ring from a grandmother, a pendant from years gone by. Pieces filled with stories, but not part of your everyday life. Duke's Jewelers believes those pieces deserve more. For over 75 years, Duke's Jewelers has helped families reimagine heirloom jewelry, transforming what once was into something you'll love wearing today and pass down tomorrow. Whether it's resetting a stone, redesigning a ring, or creating something entirely new, Duke's Jewelers will guide you through every step, right there in the store. And if you have jewelry that no longer fits your story, Duke's Jewelers also buys gold, offering a simple, transparent way to turn it into something meaningful again. Bring in what you have and create something you'll never want to take off. Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville, where your story continues.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. A new company called Brick is helping people stop scrolling when willpower alone fails. It's a little gray device. It's a box with an accompanying app that allows people to program a lock on their phones, which won't allow them to scroll on social media apps until they find their brick and tap the phone.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. The Dow is up 86 points. We're at 52,268. S&P is up 21. The Nasdaq up 177, which is 0.7%.
Got some backups on North 15 coming into downtown right now that we still got to focus on. We'll get a check of traffic coming up next. This hour of Utah's Morning News is sponsored by Cypress Credit Union. And Amanda Morton joining us live from Cypress Credit Union. Amanda, many families, now that we're already into summer, we're through a full month of summer, many families have already spent more than they originally